Hello and welcome to the Pidcock Motorcycle Arena here in Leicester. Tonight the Lions take on Premiership newcomers Oxford Spires. And as always, we are in fine company. Good turnout tonight, including from these two men, Kelvin Tatum and Scott Nichols. Kelv, I'm going to suggest that we're a good omen because
come back in lots of ways by Ipswich to win away at Sheffield for the first time in 10 years, but there's no doubt we've been treated so far.
And Scotty, these two teams tonight, hopefully it should be exactly the same because on paper, evenly matched up.
Definitely very evenly matched on paper, and both of them had a bit of an up and down start to the season, so cameras are here, that good omen. Hopefully we're in for a good night's racing.
Cal, big news coming out of the Premiership over the weekend. Fast Freddy, second in the world last year. Huge coup for Birmingham Brummies. He'll start in June, early June.
Yeah, a week today, I think it is. So, that's fantastic news. Such a, top-class rider. We're getting more and more Grand Prix stars coming back to the UK, which is wonderful. Not quite sure who's going to ride for. Slight question mark over that, which is slightly bizarre. They're going to make a choice, I think, after Thursday. But nonetheless, it's a very eye-catching move by the Brummies.
Why do you think that is for Freddie? I mean, he's only competing in Lublin. Do you think it's about having time on the bike or coming to, well, places like here, Ipswich?
Yeah, well, I think he wants to come read my book, but I think it's more a case of he's...
Why not?
I think he needs,
Why not?
I think he needs track time. I think he really needs track time. I think he's struggling in the Grand Prix. He's had 14 years here at Wolverhampton, and he's seen what it's doing for some of the other riders. And I think, you've got such a variety of tracks here, but a stiff competition. When you see riders of, Magic Yanofsky's calibre that are struggling here, it just goes to show that Britain's a tough league.
Absolutely. Well, we've had loads of Speedway. Well, always Bank Holiday Monday brings great Speedway, but we've had a meeting earlier today at the National Speedway Stadium, War of the Roses, Bellevue Aces versus Sheffield Tigers. Here's Dave Rowe to bring us up to speed.
Well, the big story on Thursday was this crash suffered by Ipswich's Jason Doyle at Kings Lynn. He's the rider in white, and off the second bend he clips Nikolai Clint, sending him into the boards and over the fence. Plenty of concern, of course. Doyle did walk away but suffered rib and shoulder damage. Without him, the Witches came from 14 points down to draw 45 all and then won a superheat. This morning's action took place in Manchester. A road clash between Bellevue and Sheffield, heavily affected by the weather. The Aces without captain Brady Kurtz with an ankle injury, and in difficult conditions the Tigers put on a real fast skating show. Heat leaders Ty Wolfenden and Jack and Chris Holder, all race winners. Guest Tom Brennan involved in 2.51s as Sheffield raced into a 10-point lead after 10 races. A downpour just after heat 10 then caused a lengthy delay for track work that did not prove possible to resume. Despite talks between the captains and the managers, the match had to be abandoned after heat 10. A big away win for the Tigers. It finished Bellevue 25, Sheffield 35. On to tonight at Perry Bar, a depleted Ipswich side visiting Birmingham. Danny King has been out for several weeks. Jason Doyle's crash on Thursday. Then on Sunday, Adam Ellis held his shoulder in France. So it's two guest riders for Ipswich, Nikolai Clint and Troy Batchelor, come in, and it's rider replacement for Doyle. Birmingham haven't raced at home since their win over Bellevue a month ago, and with Frederick Lindgren on his way to join them, tonight they bring in Justin Sedgman for his first appearance since rejoining. He has replaced Václav Minik. At Perry Bar, it's Birmingham against Ipswich.
Dave, thank you. It has been an attritional week in Speedway, and we wish Jason Doyle and all the others out injured speedy recoveries. This is what the championship standings look like currently. Ipswich Witches top of the table, Bellevue Aces second, Sheffield Tigers with matches in hand in third, and this is why tonight should be super competitive. Oxford Spires fourth, Leicester Lions fifth, separated by 2 points, but Leicester Lions have a meeting in hand. Kings Lynn Stars, Birmingham Brummies at the bottom of the table, and Kings Lynn are obviously appealing a 2-point deduction for having, well, they had a meeting cancelled earlier in the month. Right, well, there were spring showers here earlier today. At the moment, the weather is behaving itself. It's bright. Let's see what the track is like. Here's Cal.
Our first visit to Beaumont Park here in Leicester this season. I must say it's always a delight coming here, and this track generally has improved pretty much significantly over the last couple of seasons. Dertometer in hand, down on the inside. Track looks really good, I've got to say. Look at this. Little bit of grip here, not too much. I was expecting a little bit more there. So with the showers that they've had this afternoon, I think they were concerned about how much water was going to come down. Haven't had as much as they were predicting, but they have sprinkled a little bit more dirt here. But again, not too much. So on the slicker side, making our way up towards the top of the track, where very often we see them actually scrape the outside. They haven't done it. And so here this evening, we've got it. So again, bit of dirt there going in, bit more than actually down in the middle of the track or on the curb. So really looks nice, and I think there should be no excuses. I just sense the home team wanted a touch slicker than normal. Glorious evening. Shout out to Charlotte for that one, because it really is very nice indeed. I'm looking forward to this. I think these two teams are battling for the fourth spot in the playoffs. I really do think it could be a crunch meeting. Looking forward to it.
And we are too, and the riders are lining up behind us. Let's hear from the captains now. They spoke to Scotty Nicholls a little earlier this evening.
Yeah, thanks, Abby. It's coin toss time. Before we get to that, I'm going to come to the Leicester Lions captain first, Max Frick. Max, on paper, both you teams look very evenly matched, but also both of you guys have had a bit of an up-down start to the season, so you must be expecting a tough contest tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. It's that time of the year we need to start doing well here at home, especially. So tonight's going to be an important match moving into the rest of the season.
It always is. We're going to be doing the toss for gate choice as a team at home. What is the importance of choice in gate 1, or do you feel that it's more important to have that choice in heat 15?
I think for us today, I think it would be nice to have choice, just to get off to a good start. But either way, it can go either way, and we have to deal with it. So I'm not too bothered.
Okay, well, we'll come to that in a second. Come to Oxford Spires captain now, Chris Harris. Chris, a new team for you in 2024 in the Premiership. This team let you go last year as well. Does that add a little bit more incentive for you tonight?
Well, it might add a little bit, yeah, just to try to do one over Stuart again. But no, it is what it is. We've all been about a long time now, haven't we? So, yeah, but my focus is Oxford Speedway tonight and trying to get them wins.
It is. I know we just joked about it then, but when you do your little team talks and stuff like that as a captain, does it have a kind of any change on that chat?
Yeah, obviously I want to do well and show that they shouldn't let me go. But yeah, like I said, we work as a team, and that's the main goal.
Okay, well, we're going to get to that coin toss, so I'll get you to call when it's in the air, Chris.
Heads.
Chris calls heads, comes down tails. So, your wish, what are you going for, Max?
We're going to go heat 1, 1 and 3.
Okay, so there you go. Leicester Lions choose gate 1 and 3 in heat 1. Best luck. Back to you, Abby.
Thanks, Scotty. Let's meet tonight's teams then and rejoin Calvin Tatum.
Thank you very much, Abby. This is a good-looking meeting, and the Oxford Spires started the season in fine form, have dipped a wee bit, but nonetheless they're in there fighting. So we've got young Ashton Beaumont coming out here, a rider that is the rising star for the Spires, and only been riding a couple of seasons, came from motocross, but plenty of potential, and is beginning to score points, certainly in the championship. Looking for a good night tonight. Craig Cook is my man to watch for the Spires. Such an experienced campaigner. Good to see Craig beginning to find some form of late, so he's in the team. Keep an eye out for him. Chris Harris, of course, has got that point to prove, coming back to his former club. And Chris has been going well in the championship, not quite as well in the Premiership, so looking for a big night. Now, Maciej Janowski, he needs really no introduction at all. He's won league championships here, has led the World Championship as a multiple Grand Prix winner, but hasn't found his feet so far in British Speedway, needs a real boost. Charles Wright, of course, the former British champion, is here riding for the Spires, and a real all-action rider, Charles. He's giving 100%. Good to see him tonight. Eric Riss, back to full fitness. Had a good chat with Eric just before the meeting started. Said that problem with his eyesight didn't really clear up until November of last year. So he's delighted that is the case, and he's riding well. And Rowan Tungate, the Australian, leads the team. Come back into British Speedway. Rowan is having a really good start to 2024. So they are the Oxford Spires. They lie 4th in the league table as it stands. But they are away from home in this Crunch Speedway match tonight. So let's take a closer look at the home team. Of course, Stuart Dixon is the team manager. There's the 1 to 7. A fine-looking bunch. So we've got young Sam Hagan. Now, Sam Hagan, of course, comes from a rich dynasty in the sport, with Alf and Martin, his father, here as well. So Sam Hagan really beginning to make his mark in British Speedway. Drew Kemp is the other youngster down at number 6, and Drew has been a little inconsistent, but on his day he's a measure for many riders. Ryan Douglas, of course, a former Wolverhampton Wolf, is in the side at number 5. It's going along nicely, and Ryan is doing a fine job for his new team in 2024. Luke Becker is the next man, the American. A lot have been talked about Luke Becker, of course, a lot of interest in trying to get the World Championship into America, and Luke Becker is the #1 man in America right now. So Luke is another former Wolverhampton Wolves settling in. So is Sam Masters, of course. Sam Masters was the #1 and is now beginning to, after a slow start, is beginning to find his feet here at Beaumont Park. Richard Lawson is always solid as a rock, and he knows this track particularly well, and he rides at #2. And my man to watch for the home team, the Lions, tonight is the top man, Max Fricke. He had a blip last time away from home, but he needs a big night tonight, that's for sure, leading the side. And as I say, Stuart Dixon will be very keen to see him leading from the front. So there are the two teams. They will take 1 and 3 in the first race and hope to get off to a flying start. It's a good-looking evening, sun's out, fine crowd, good atmosphere. And as I say, it is a really tough match to call, this one. Oxford have come here with plenty of ambition. So let's make our way back to Harry. I can see her there.
Kel, thank you. I can agree. It's a glorious evening. The sunshine is beating down here at Beaumont Park. Let's hope for a great race. Now, that hashtag tonight is a fairly tricky one. I've got to make sure I get it right. It's going to be on your screen, but it is LIOF, okay? So any questions that you've got for Scotty Nicholls, use your social media platform of choice, use that hashtag, and I'll ask Scott a little later on in the show. When we come back, it'll be straight on with the action here in Leicester.
Grand final here in Germany. 4 laps to go. Green light comes on. Here we go, tapes her up. Holder's made it off the inside. Mickelson! Whoa, what a start from gate #3. Couldn't win there all night long. He fires himself to the front. Holder into second place, Marsley back in third. Mickelson has had a couple of really tough years. The only reason he's in the Grand Prix is because he won the European Championship. He's out in front. What a stunning start for Mikkel Mickelson from gate #3.
Oh, great stuff from Mickelson. Absolutely superb. Came in tonight in 10th place. He'll be moving up the standings if he can hold on to this. He'll be hearing every noise now as Smarslick is doing his best there, but it's Jack Holder putting him under pressure around the inside. I think he's going to stick to his guns.
Here we go. Jack Holder coming on strong in second place. Mikkel Mickelson now slams the door shut. Just over a lap to go. Had to do that because Jack Holder was coming on so very strong in second place. What a moment this will be for Mikkel Mickelson. Oh, Smarsley now.
Oh, here comes Holder.
Holder back up the inside. Stunning Speedway here in Germany tonight. But Mikkel Mickelson out of the last corner. What a moment for him. He wins in Germany. He wins his first Grand Prix. What a moment for Mikkel Mickelson.
Oh, look at that.
Sensational moment for him. Unbelievable start from gate #3. Bartosz Marslick and Jack Holder swapping places late on in the final. Fabulous Speedway. Speedway out of the top draw. Don't care.
Wow, amazing. You know, it's been a long time coming. It's been a rough year and a half for me and my team. You know, we've been working so hard, searching, fighting, and yeah, I'm a bit emotional right now. I'm just so grateful for my sponsors who stuck behind me, my team for working so hard. So yeah, tastes amazing. This one is for my uncle who's watching up there, and for my dad back home, and also for Andrei Kudushov, who sadly passed away.
So the champagne moment for all three. Jack Holder turning on the style and coming through so very well at the back end. The second half of the meeting really did show great resolve to do that. Bartosz Marslick, well, just another second place, you know. Sooner or later I might win one, but funny enough, Bartosz, you're leading the championship again.
Welcome back to Pidcock Motorcycles Arena here in Leicester. It's Lions versus Oxford. Coming up this week across the Discovery Network, we will be in action in Prague on the Speedway Grand Prix. So all you Speedway fans, it's a good week for you. The FIM Endurance World Championship, 8 hours of Spa, 8th of June. You can watch that on Eurosport 2 Live. And the World Superbikes there in Italy, round 4 Misano, the weekend of the 14th to the 16th, also Eurosport 2. And British Superbikes, it's round 4 for them as well. And they'll be in Knock Hill, 15th and 16th of June. But here in Leicester, just looking at some last-minute changes there. Chris Harris helping out. Rowan Tungate, is it? It's Heat 1 between Leicester Lions and Oxford Spires. Your commentator this evening is Calvin Tatum.
Thank you very much, Abby. Riders now being released onto the arena for the first time this evening. And as I say, we've got a couple of Australians going head-to-head here in the first race. And the vastly experienced Richard Lawson as well. Big night for Max Frick. Sense that he was experimenting a little bit away from home recently and it didn't go to plan. But Stuart Dixon leading the Leicester Lions, of course the team manager, is very keen for them to put in a real team performance. He wants all his men firing on all cylinders. Pretty much Peter Schroeck, the German team manager for the Oxford Spires, will want something very similar. Lawson has been around a long time, always gives of his very best. Good healthy crowding, good atmosphere, and the Speedway has improved immensely here. The track is improved, and that's why. Plenty of grip on that start line, I've got to say. Walked out there quite early on when I arrived, and it looked really grippy indeed. Heat number 1, the lineup for you. Richard Lawson in the blue helmet colour will go from the inside gate. Eric Riss in the yellow helmet colour out of gate number 2. Gate number 3 in red is Max Frick, and off the outside in white is Rowan Tungate. Now, really important to get off to a flying start here. Always is, sets the tone for the evening. Max Frick won the coin toss, as we saw with Scotty Nichols, and then went straight for gates 1 and 3. And wants to get away sharp. There's Peter Schroeck. And looking after the Spires this season. So good to see Oxford back. 15 years the stadium was idle and no Speedway at all, but it's back, and I must say it's a smashing venue. Looking forward to our visit there with Eurosport. Riders settling down now for the opening race of the night. Weather's good, pretty much ideal conditions. It's breezy, but it's dry. That's good news. Green light is on, the tapes are up, and we charge into the first corner. Look at Frick. Fabulous start out of gate number 3. Richard Lawson is there as well. Coming through is Eric Riss as well. He's slipped into 3rd place with Rowan Tungate out the back, but there's no doubt that initially here, gates 1 and 3 have certainly worked a treat. Max Frick looks very accomplished immediately out in front. Richard Lawson, 2nd place, coming under pressure from Eric Riss. He can't relax, Richard Lawson, because Eric Riss is right there. Rowan Tungate, who missed the start from the outside gate. Frick is away. He's comfortable, looking good out in front. Really has no problems at all. We're going into the last lap. Frick's going to win this at a canter. He's in a different class here. Richard Lawson. Track just looks a little greasy, but it looks like we're going to get off to a flying start here for the home team. The Leicester Lions. One final blast through the final corner. Checkered flags out, and it's a big 5-1. The ideal start for the home team. Chuffed to bits with that. You can see the home crowd just reacting. No doubt that they will be very pleased with the way they've started. Gates 1 and 3 winning the coin toss, of course, proved to be decisive there, I would suggest, and the class of Frick was clear to be seen there. Really did win very comfortably indeed, had a lot of speed. Richard Lawson had to hustle his bike back in 2nd place, but nonetheless, a good result for the home team. Max Frick 3 points out in front. Richard Lawson back in 2nd place, 2 points. Eric Riss 1 point for 3rd, and Rowan Tungate misses out in the first race, and he'll be frustrated with that. He's been having a good run of form, Rowan Tungate. We'll see this once again. Gates 1 and 3 working well. Watch how the bike from Max Frick halfway to the corner, look at that, he's pulled at least a bike length on everybody else as they enter that first turn. A little bit skatey as they went into the first corner. Richard Lawson getting off the inside there very nicely, and they've hit the front straight away. Boom, the tapes are up and we're into that first turn. Max Frick, that's the masterclass off the start line. Eric Riss is there lurking, but a smart move, a clever move from Richard Lawson to block his path early doors as I go down the back straight. But that man, as I say, he really had it all his own way. He had a lot of speed, had it all under control. And for the Leicester Lions, first and second, a 5-1. And they get off to a maximum start here this evening, so they'll be chuffed to bits with that. So heat number 2 is with us, and the youngsters making their way out. As I say, one of my men to watch, we're having both of them out in the first 2 races here. Max Frick got off to a flying start. Craig Cook is the other one, who's down at reserve. Now, Craig Cook, not very long ago, was riding for Great Britain. He's been a former British champion, had a loss of form, but he seems to have been rediscovering some of that recently. And he's on our screen there. And I sense that that man, Peter Schroek, who they moved quite swiftly for Cook, will be looking for Cook to go well this evening and pick up, because they can have 7 rides a reserve, and that can be, well, they can make a big impact on a meeting when you can have up to 7 rides. That's a maximum of 21 points, so that just shows you how significant it can be at times. Riders approaching the tapes. For heat number 2, Stuart Dixon will be pleased with the way the heat 1 went. Drew Kemp just making his way round, just getting himself ready for his opening ride. Heat number 2 is with us. Craig Cook will go from the inside in white. Drew Kemp out of gate number 2 in red. Ashton Boujon will go from gate number 3 in yellow, and off the outside is Sam Hagan in blue. Hagan will be looking for a better start than Rowan Tungate made in the first race. It is quite a long way, but there's no doubt that man out of gate number 3 was absolutely jet propelled. Just chatting with his compatriot Sam Masters there. Can the Oxford Spires now bounce back with gates 1 and 3? Can they reverse it and square it all up with a 5-1 of their own? Certainly Cook potentially a favourite here for heat number 2. Start Marshall just bringing the riders forward now. Walks away. Our referee Christina Turnbull allows the tapes to go. We're into the first turn. Cook's made a good one. Drew Kemp's gone very wide. Hasn't helped his teammate at all there, Drew Kemp. Although he's hit the front, he certainly didn't allow Sam Hagan to come round him, but he did recover and he got the speed down the back straight and he's hit the front. Cook's in second. Bouchon is there in third with Hagan out the back, but Drew Kemp, got to say, he's out in front. Maybe a little bit more vision there, a little bit more peripheral vision. He could have been aware that his teammate was alongside him, but right now it's looking like a shared heat. Cook's beginning to wind it on in second place. Bouchon's just dropped back a wee bit. It's a battle for first and second into the last lap, but Kemp's shown real good pace here. Cook's beginning to wind it on. Can he get to him? I don't think he's going to do it, you know. Drew Kemp's ridden well here. This has been a good opening ride from him. He's been inconsistent this season so far, but he starts with a win. So he'll be chuffed to bits with that. It's a 3-all. So it moves on to 8 points to 4. But Drew Kemp, although he was a little harder on his teammate in the first corner, got his wheels in line and powered to the front, down that back straight, got the better of Cook. And as hard as Cook tried, just couldn't quite get to him. So the result of heat number 2, Drew Kemp out in front, 3 points. Craig Cook back in second place, 2 points for him. Ashton Bowen, they're going nicely in third, just dropped away a little bit the longer the race went on, and Sam Hagan was finding it tough out there. He failed to score in heat number 2. It's 8 points to 4 right now, and we'll see it again. What's the first corner? As I say, Cook lifted, but as they get there, Drew Kemp just rushes up the bank there, and that pushes young Sam Hagan wide. And once you get that wide, you are then very vulnerable for riders to come up the inside, and that's exactly what happened. But fair play to Drew Kemp. Once he hit the front, I must say he stayed there and he went very nicely indeed. And Cook was trying to hug that inside, try to nip into the front, but the speed coming off the banking there off of turn 2 was too much to resist, and he stayed there, and it was a 3-all at the completion of the second race of the night. But a confidence boost there for Drew Kemp, who has not always been in the points, but so far so good for him. Number 3 beginning to make its way out now. So can the Oxford Spires eat into that 4-point lead that the Leicester Lions have established after 2 races this evening? As I say, this is a crunch meeting. There's no doubt that these are 4th and 5th in the league as we come into tonight, with the Oxford Spires needing to keep going. Certainly, they will be looking for that. But this is a big race here. Plenty of quality on show here, no doubt about that, with Masters, Becker, Wright and Janowski. Janowski is an interesting one, coming back into British Speedway since 2015, so some time away from the British scene, hasn't really hit the ground running, hasn't sort of like lit up the score chart yet. There's no doubt that Peter Schroet will be hoping that is the case, as they're going to need his performances as the season continues. I think if he can just make a few starts, then Janowski will show his class, there's no doubt about that. It's going well on the continent of late, but as I say, has found points difficult to come by here. There he is there with the number 4 on his back. Started at number 1, so maybe moving to a second string berth could just help him out a wee bit. Heat number 3, Luke Becker will go from the inside in the blue helmet colour. Alongside him is Charles Wright in white, gate number 2. Gate number 3 in red is Sam Masters, and off the outside is Maciej Janowski, the Polish man in the yellow helmet colour, looking for a big night of Speedway. As I say, this is a really competitive heat. Top quality riders with a lot of British racing here, experience. Masters and Becker, of course, have been teammates for some considerable time previously with the Wolves. Now they've come across to join the Leicester Lions. 8 points to 4. Will it change now? Will the Spires get back in it? We're away. Got to say the home team are sharp away there into the first turn. Becker's there. Janowski's coming around the outside. Masters hits the front down the back straight. Tight going into turns 3 and 4. Here comes Janowski round the outside trying to wind it on. He can't quite get there. The man under huge pressure here is Luke Becker in second place. You can throw a blanket over all 4 riders here. Really is tight indeed. Charles Wright is in amongst the action as well. But out in front, Sam Masters settling nicely. Becker's in it as well. Look at Janowski working hard back in 3rd place. Searching inside, outside. Just can't quite get the extra drive he's looking for. Into the last lap. Masters out in front, Becker's there right up behind him. Maciej Janowski looking for any opportunity on the last lap here to try and get amongst the bigger points, electing to go wide, not going to work, and it's another 5-1. Home team on fire here tonight. 2 5-1s in the first 3 heats. No doubt they're going to be enjoying that. And they stretch the lead out big time, 13 points to 5. They're looking good, and Sam Masters settling down nicely. As I say, Janowski wasn't out of it. He was right on the pace, but just can't get the bike off the start in his first one. And the home riders are enjoying life so far. This was going to be, or meant to be, a tight contest, but after 3 heats, it's one-way traffic. 2 5-1s and a 3-all, and that means we've got 13 points to 5 for the Spires. Result of heat number 3. Sam Masters out in front, 3 points for him. Luke Becker coming in second place, 2 points. Maciej Janowski back in 3rd, 1 point for him. And Charles Wright fails to score in heat number 3. We'll see it again from the start. Got to say, Charles Wright missed that. And just a touch late on dropping the clutch. Both the Lions riders here get there. Becker's turned the bike inside out. Here comes Janowski. I thought for a moment Janowski was going to be able to get the better of Becker early doors, but Becker certainly finds works his way nicely into the race. Charles Wright there turning the bike right. He's trying to get up the inside. Maciej Janowski is at the back at this stage, but works his way into 3rd place. But the two Leicester Lions out in front, as I say, they worked nicely here, and they do the business to pick up a second 5-1 in 3 heats, and to move sweetly on to 13 points to 5. We're on board here with Ryan Douglas. Ryan Douglas, and I tell you what, Ryan Douglas is having a really good season, and having spent some considerable time with the Wolverhampton Wolves, Douglas is at the age of 30 really beginning to find his form. Chris Harris out here as well. Interesting to see how he goes. As I say, Chris Harris was a former Leicester Lions and was released last year, and I don't think he was best pleased about that, but on his return with another club, I'm sure he'd like to put his best foot forward tonight. It is often the case, but you know, generally with Chris Harris, he's always going to be giving his very best. And riders are up at tapes for heat number 4, doing their gardening. There's a lot of grip down there on the start line. They really have worked very hard, but the rest of the track is relatively slick at this stage. I think that's how they've wanted it. British Road there looking for a response from the Oxford Spires here in heat number 4 after a very solid start by the home team. Heat number 4 then, Sam Hagan off the inside in the blue helmet colour. Alongside him in gate number 2 in yellow is Ashton Boujon. Ryan Douglas out of gate number 3 in red, and Chris Harris goes from the outside in heat number 4 in the white helmet colour. We've seen Cruz Harris earlier on roaring round the infield track there, the junior track, setting a new track record, I believe. Very impressive indeed by young Cruz. But can his father now, Chris Harris, do the business? Richard Lawson there just not exactly tree hugging, but certainly hugging something there. But here we are. Here we go. Heat number 4. Tapes are up and we're underway into the first turn. Smashing start there from Douglas, runs very wide. That allows Chris Harris to dive up the inside. Harris didn't need a big invitation there. Boujon's got problems, his bike's packed up. That's allowed Hagan into 3rd place. Brilliant move, devastating move there from Chris Harris. After a very good start from Douglas, Douglas just ran a little bit too hot into that first corner. And Harris was there ready to pounce, wheels in line, fired himself to the front, and Harris is enjoying himself out in front. Boujon's got going now. I'm quite sure what his problem was, but he's tailed off out the back with Hagan in 3rd place. Looking like a shared heat here. Spires would have wanted an advantage, but nonetheless, they're not going to slip further behind with Harris. Look at that. Harris is loving that out in front. Front wheel just leaving the ground as he powered down the back straight for the final time. Good opening ride from Harris, that. Impressive. He'll be pleased. As I say, Sam Hagan came into 3rd place with Douglas back in 2nd, but for Chris Harris, there'll be a sense of satisfaction about that, I'm sure. But nonetheless, that was classic Harris there. Didn't make the start, but was in the right place at the right time, coming out of the first corner. So the result of heat number 4 for you. Chris Harris out in front, 3 points. Ryan Douglas back in 2nd place, 2 points for him. Sam Hagan, 1 point in 3rd, and Ashton Boujon missing out in heat number 4. We're rattling along very nicely now. And we'll watch the replay again. Gate 4 hasn't worked very well this evening. It's a smashing start initially from Douglas out of gate 3, but look, he goes very, very wide there, and that allows Chris Harris to read that nicely, and he comes charging up. Problems there for Boujon there. It seemed to sort of cough and splutter down the back straight initially. Again from the tapes, Douglas there will be kicking himself after such a smashing start, running wide, and that allowed Harris to just power down the inside of him as they charged into turn number 3 on the opening lap, and that's the way it stayed with Hagan coming through into 3rd place. But Harris clearly absolutely delighted with his opening ride of the night. Right, for the moment, let's get back down to Abbey.
Cal, thank you. Strong start for Leicester Lions. I spoke to Stuart Dixon just before the meeting. He looked in good spirits. He said his team can ill afford to lose at home. High stakes this evening. And remember the hashtag, it's LIOFFS. Also, when we come back after the break, we will have the live draw for the British Final. British Final taking place on the 8th of June at the National Speedway Stadium. And all 3 British riders competing in the Grand Prix will be there. And it's Dan Bewley who is the defending champion. So June the 8th, we've got the live draw for the British Final coming up. See you in a moment.
And welcome to our coverage on Discovery Plus. Birmingham against Ipswich from Perry Bar. A wet Perry Bar after a downpour pre-meeting, but we are underway. This is the action from Heat 1. Good start from Steve Worrell in blue for Birmingham, but Emil Saifudenov around the outside in white to take the lead for a depleted Ipswich side who are using 2 guests and rider replacement, but Saifudenov out in front of Steve Worrell and Piotr Pawlicki in the opening race. Heat number 2, the reserves race. Victor Lampard and Leon Flint for Birmingham. Keenan Roux trying to get stuck in there in white for the Ipswich Witches, but Lampard takes the advantage into the third bend for the first time. Unfortunately for Birmingham, his teammate Leon Flint in blue comes to grief up on the top turn, and that race is stopped by the referee. Leon Flint up and okay and able to walk in, so it's Lampard on his own now against Roux and Jenkins in the rerun. Once again, a good start from the young Pole from the inside. Of course, Birmingham riders under some pressure with the news that Frederick Lindgren is joining next week, so somebody in the Birmingham team will go after this week's activity, and they'll be keen to impress here this evening. Lampard taking a good ride, a good win in Heat 2 in the reserves race. On we go to Heat 3. Saifudenov takes the rider replacement ride for the Witches, but flying start by Justin Sedgman in blue, and contact between Saifudenov and teammate Dan Thompson with Zach Cook in red trying to go around the outside, but Sedgman here has the advantage over Saifudenov with Cook in third place and Thompson out the back. And Justin Sedgman, his first appearance this season for Birmingham, ridden for them before at championship level, rejoining in place of Václav Milik and leading here in front of Saifudenov, who's trying every line in Perry Bar to try and pass him. Sedgman with the advantage. Saifudenov in second place, Zach Cook in third, Dan Thompson at the back. Birmingham set for a race advantage here to go in front for the first time, but Emil Saifudenov chasing hard up the back straight for the third time. Still Sedgman leads, but now a wide move on the outside by Emil Saifudenov, who turns back off the fourth turn and goes flying down the inside. That's a great move by Saifudenov to get inside Sedgman into bends 1 and 2. It's still Cook in third place, but Saifudenov's got the advantage. Paid maximum at Kings Lynn on Thursday and very much on form once again here at Perry Bar tonight. Emil Saifudenov, superb victory there in heat number 3, passing Justin Sedgman. Zach Cook in third place, still all square. And here's the action from early in Heat 4. Troy Batchelor is the rider in white, making a fast start for the Ipswich Witches, making a guest appearance for the injured Adam Ellis. And Batchelor, who rode for Birmingham last season in the Championship, has the lead. But Tom Brennan in red, who has been in tremendous form in recent weeks, takes the run round the outside. Brilliant move by the Birmingham man. He gets through to take the advantage. And with Leon Flint in third place over Jordan Jenkins, that will edge Birmingham in front after 4 races. Fine ride by Tom Brennan, getting the better of Troy Batchelor on the opening lap or so. Third place for Leon Flint, the 4-2 to the home side. 4 gone, Birmingham 13, Ipswich 11.
After 4 heats, Leicester have made a great start to this meeting. It's 16-8. They come off the back of a couple of losses too, so Stuart Dixon will be happy with that start to this evening's meeting. It is now time for the live draw for the British Final. British Final taking place a week on Saturday in Manchester at the National Speedway Stadium. So let's hand you to Phil Morris, CEO of the British Premiership, and Scott Nichols, who is with Darren Fletcher.
Yeah, thanks, Abby. Yes, Phil and Darren Fletcher join me. I'm going to get Darren to draw the balls out in a second. But Darren, you're a huge Speedway fan. Sadly, you won't be able to be at the British final because it's a huge night for sport in general.
Yeah, it's a big night that night. I'm going to be doing the baseball on TNT Sports at the London Stadium, but I'm disappointed to miss this British final because it's got to be the best Fields Cup for a long, long time.
Oh, definitely. Some big names back, and like you say, it's going to be a good night's racing.
Yeah, that's going to be great. I'm kind of rooting for Ty a little bit because he's my mate, but when I see Dan in there and Robert Lambert, and that's just going to be fantastic. Might we get a surprise? You never know.
Well, there's always a surprise at the British final. There's going to be a surprise come out of that little pot in a minute as we go to the Active Sport Division British final. Darren, if you can pick out the first ball, it's Robert Lambert. We're going to see what number Robert is going to line up at.
Number 2.
So Robert Lambert draws number 2, position 2. Next up is your buddy Ty Woofenden. Pick him a good one. You won't be happy if you get it wrong.
Number 8.
So Ty Woofenden in a second. Next up is another big hitter, Dan Bewley.
11.
Dan Bewley draws number 11. And next up for this first block of 4 is Danny King, defending British champion himself as well. Number 4 for Danny King. So that's your first 4 block of riders. Ty Woofenden, we're going to have to see if he's going to be happy. Jake's going to be happy at number 8.
I don't know. I don't know how it works. You'd know better than me. When are you going to get gate ones or when are you going to get back-to-back rides? I'm not sure.
I think 2 of the last guys, so Robert Lambert and Danny King, have drawn 2 gate 4s, which is probably not the best. You're looking for gate 1 if you can get gate 1 normally at most tracks. So I don't think any 2 gate 1s have come out yet. So when they do, they'll be happy with your selection.
Well, let's move on. Chris Harris is next up. So see if you pull him 2 gate 1s. We'll soon find out in a second. Chris Harris draws out
3.
So Chris Harris, number 3 for Chris Harris. A Leicester boy, Richard Lawson, is next up.
Just over there.
There he is. You can show him his number.
12.
So Richard Lawson draws at number 12. Performing tonight, Tom Brennan for the Birmingham Brummies. Tom Brennan draws number 14. And then last in this block, he's performing here tonight is Charles Wright, the former British champion himself, draws number 15 for Charles Wright in that second block of 4.
Again, no gate 1s there. You've kept them a little bit, and I think Bomber had 2 gate 3s, so he's probably going to be unhappy with you on that one because normally the gate 3s are the tougher ones. So
we won't tell him that tonight. So we'll move on. So next up is Stevie Worrell. Again, another rider performing tonight. Former home tracker. Here's Stevie Worrell, draws number 10. Another rider performing tonight, Craig Cook. You don't want to upset him tonight. Let's see what you pull him out.
We've got 2 gate 1s.
Number 5.
With number 5, it could be a handy one for Craig Cook. Another up is Louis Kerr, just coming back from injury. Draws number 9. The smiley face at the bottom, number 9 for Louis Kerr. Next up, Rory Schlein. Let's see what you can pick out for Rory. Unlucky for some, but could be lucky for Rory, number 13. Next up is Ben Barker, put in a good performance last year in the British final. Draws number 1, so he's got a gate 1 in heat 1. That could be pretty advantageous, so he could be happy with you.
So you definitely got 3 riders then. So you had Louis Kerr. It was Louis Kerr. Was the last 3?
Rory Schlein and Ben Barker.
Yeah, all 3 of them ended up with Ben Barker obviously as the one which is after a grade, so he's the first guy out after the grade, but he does get 2 gate 1s, so them last 3 are probably on your Christmas cards list.
So there you go, you made someone's list this year.
I've done well there, to be honest. Yeah, I've enjoyed that. There's still 1 ball in there.
There's still 1 left, and that is for Connor Mountain.
Okay.
So what are you going to pull out for Connor Mountain? Number 6 for Connor Mountain. So that is your last block of 4. So it's going to be a big night. And we've got some big nights of sport coming up as well.
Yeah, huge. This coming weekend, TNT Sports 1 Champions League final. Really excited to be part of the coverage. We've also got the 5v5 as a pay-per-view that night as well. So it's a massive night of sport. But obviously, Champions League final, Real Madrid, Borussia Dortmund. It's going to be fantastic. But I'll tell you what, I'm really enjoying this tonight. And I'm definitely going to be back. Fantastic.
just going to say you're a local lad here. You said earlier it's the first time you've been here. You're a Speedway fan, and good to see you enjoying the racing tonight.
Well, when I came last time, I couldn't get in because all the gates were closed. I got here too late, so I got to the track and had to go home. So
He wasn't happy.
so tonight, I was able to get in, and I'm having a great time, so it's fantastic.
Well, great time. We've got official look at the draw now. We can see the riders there lined up for you. So we've got Ben Barker at 1, Robert Lambert at 2, Chris Harris 3, Danny King at 4. That's your first block of 4 races. Then Craig Cook, Connor Mountain, Adam Ellis, Ty Woofenden, Louis Kerr, Stevie Worrell, Dan Bewley, Richard Lawson, Rory Schlein, Tom Brennan, Charles Wright and Carl Howarth rounds out your 16 for the Attis Sport Division British final on June the 8th at the Manchester Arena. Back to you, Abby.
Scotty, thank you. Great to see Darren Fletcher here. I mean, Monday night he's in Leicester for the Premiership, and then he goes to the Champions League final, living the dream. But great to see him, and he loves the Speedway, as does Dave Rowe. Let's get the latest from Birmingham, Ipswich.
Well, damp conditions early on at Perry Bar, but Birmingham edged their way into a 13 points to 11 lead after 4 races. Here is the race of the night so far. Justin Sedgman making his first appearance since rejoining the Brummies, out in front of Emil Saifuddinov here in Heat 3. Sedgman in blue, Saifuddinov in white, and Saifuddinov taking the wide line round the outside, then a cut back off the 4th bend, and a really classy move here by Saifuddinov to go inside Sedgman and take the advantage and take the win in Heat 3. But Heat 4 saw Tom Brennan go around the outside of Troy Batcherer to put Birmingham in front. 4 heats gone, Birmingham 13, Ipswich 11.
Dave, thank you. Right, can Oxford Spires bounce back? It's Heat 5 and Calvin Tatum.
It is indeed, Abby. And the Oxford Spires coming out. They've had a hard time so far. The home team have got off to a terrific start with an 8-point lead after the first 4 races, moving into heat number 5 now, and Sam Masters and Luke Becker are out here for the home team. And they started in fine style. They had a 5-1. It was a hotly contested race, though, because heat number 3 had Maciej Janowski, who didn't get away very well, but he was certainly lurking there in 3rd place, so they couldn't relax. So now it's, can the Oxford Spires now get amongst the big points? In number 5, Eric Riss will go from the inside in the yellow helmet colour. Sam Masters, gate number 2 in red. Gate number 3 in white is Rowan Tungate, and Luke Becker from America going from the outside in the blue helmet colour. Gate number 4 has been problematic so far. There isn't so much grip out there. The inside gates have worked a little bit better. Peter Schroek, who's very ambitious for the Spires this season, and he'll be keen to see an upturn in performances. Maybe this is an opportunity right here with Riss and Tungate. Tungate has been going along nicely this season and has found himself at number 1, leading the team. Don't remember too many times when that has happened in the past, so clearly Tungate is having a good season. But he's up against Masters and Becker. They know each other so well. You know, they've ridden together for some time, so they've got that understanding when they're out there looking for one another. They know instinctively almost where they're going to be on the track, so that is of benefit certainly for the team, for the Leicester Lions. We've had Chris Harris earlier on winning. Everybody eagerly looking on. Big night, of course, big night. League points on the line. Here we go then, riders coming forward now. Start Marshall, yeah, he's happy now, moves away. Green lights on, tapes are up. We're roaring into the first corner. Gate number 2 in Masters. He's just about going. Riss is round the outside. It's going to be tight down the back straight. Will he be able to get there, Masters? No. Eric Riss has done nicely there. Got himself to the front. Looked good. Thought for a moment that Sam Masters was going to be able to get there. Rowan Tungate is back in 3rd. And I'll tell you what, Luke Becker is out the back. This is more like it for the Spires. This is a 4-2 on the cards at the moment, with that Eric Riss, who has returned to form. He's got his health back. Looks like he's slimmed down a bit as well. He looks very fit. He's riding nicely out in front. And look at Tungate. Tungate's got some speed back in 3rd. Now electing to go wide. Will he get better at Masters? Coming into the last lap, not quite. Masters has had a sneaky look over his shoulder. He's having to begin to ride a bit defensively now. One last chance for Tungate. Riss has got it. He's going to pick up the 3 points here. Out of the last corner, nice ride from the German Riss. He wins in style. Masters back in 2nd. Good race that. As I say, and it was a handy race for the Oxford Spires with a 4-2 to them. And they reduced the deficit to 6 points now, 18 points to 12. But for Eric Riss, who was riding for the Ipswich Witches last year and struggled throughout the season, that's more like it from him. He'll be pleased with that. 3 points for Riss out in front. Masters back in second place, 2 points. Rowan Tungate battling hard in third, 1 point for him. And Luke Becker, the American, misses out in heat number 5. We'll see it again. And it was a tight first corner. I thought for a moment that Masters was going to get there out of gate number 3. He certainly dropped the clutch. Bang on, and the bike powers to the first corner. But again, drifting up that banking. Little bit of wheel spin off the corner, not as much grip as he was hoping for, and that allowed Eric Riss just to power down the inside. We're seeing it again here with Rowan Tungate coming on strong later in the race, charging into the first corner. It looks like Masters has got it, but smart move there from Eric Riss. Got that bike just driving forward nicely, got himself to the front and stayed there. Masters, the longer the race went on, actually Tungate was the problem for him and had to ride a little bit more defensively the longer the race went on. Eric Riss chuffed to bits with winning that, and a first heat advantage to the visitors, and the Oxford Spires will be pleased about that. So we're moving forward now to heat number 6, and we will be looking to see if the Oxford Spires can keep their momentum going. Won't be either. So a big race coming up here. Max Frick out again, who was very impressive first time out. My man to watch for the home team. And guess what? My man to watch for the Oxford Spires is out here as well. So the men to watch are going head to head in heat number 6. Good stuff. So Richard Lawson, who went well in his first ride. Chris Harris was very impressive, getting the better of Ryan Douglas in his first ride. Riders are up at tapes. Heat number 6, Max Frick goes from the inside in reds. Chris Harris out of gate number 2 in white. Richard Lawson gate number 3 in blue, and Craig Cook from the outside in the yellow helmet colour. Can the Spires keep eking into that lead? A 6-point deficit at the moment, or a 6-point lead to the home team. And they could do with closing in. As I say, Harris was going through, I don't know how good he was really going. It seemed a bit harsh that they released him. But on his return, he certainly looked in good form. Craig Cook, as I say, has had a good run of form recently. And down at reserve, you would expect him to get amongst the points here this evening. But Max Frick, on the evidence of heat number 1, could be the man to beat. He was very impressive. He had a lot of speed, and he won in fine style. He was miles out in front. If he repeats that again, it's going to be a hard man to peg back. Riders taking some time here. Not sure why. Maybe it's bank holiday and they just want to take it easy. You just don't know, do you? Here we go then. Bike's coming forward now. Yep, start marshal looks like he's pleased. He's going to move away. Green light's on. Tapes up and we're into it. Into that first turn. Frick's made a lovely start. Richard Lawson's there alongside him. Bit of argy-bargy in the first corner with Craig Cook getting the better of Chris Harris as they come through down the back straight for the first time. But I've got to say that the home team are looking strong here. Very strong indeed. Lawson and Frick out in front. Frick's in fine form tonight. When he is on top of his game, Max Frick is a sight to behold. He's a genuine world-class rider. He's not in the Grand Prix this year, but he's making his way back. He's into the qualifiers, he's into the SGP challenge later this year in part of it. Massive 5-1 here. Brilliant response from the home team. Out of the bottom corner, they're into the last lap. Cook's giving chase. Harris has had no answer at all. He's tailed off at the back. He'll be disappointed with this one. But for the home team, the maximum score by this duo again. They did it in heat number 1. They're going to do it again in heat number 6. Great stuff from the home team. They're stretching away at the front. Home crowd are delighted, absolutely delighted with that, and rightly so. We move on to 23 points. There's a 10-point lead again, and this crowd will be chuffed to bits with that. This was This was a nervy-looking match, you know. It was on paper, it could have gone either way, but the home team certainly have come here meaning business, and that man, not showing it yet, but he'll be chuffed to bits inside, that's for sure. Result of heat number 6 for you. 3 points for Max Frick, unbeaten so far. Richard Lawson, 2 points. Greg Cook back in third, 1 point for him, and Chris Harris failing to score in heat number 6. So we'll see it once again. Again, I'll tell you what, Max Frick has got that bike working nicely. Charges into the first corner. He's already looking for his teammate over his right shoulder. Lawson there, hustling it there. Craig Cook coming through aggressively there into third place. Harris is out the back. And in truth, as hard as they tried, the Oxford boys, they just can't do it. Look at there, Max Frick just having a sneaky look across his right shoulder, keeping an eye on where his teammate is, and a couple of times again down the back straight, bit of team riding going on there. But Lawson was able to take care of himself, and they had a pretty comfortable ride from then. Right, let's get some more reaction. Let's get down to Scotty Nichols. He's got Max Frick.
Yeah, thanks, Kelv. I've got Max, your man to watch, and he's on fire tonight. Max, your team needed good performance, and you're having a sensational night so far.
Yeah, so far it's only two races in, so so far so good. But the track's riding really nice. The boys are doing really well tonight. You know, a few good heat advantages early on that we took advantage of. So hopefully they can just keep that up.
And you just said track conditions are good there. There was obviously a big threat of rain today, so there was possibly a fear that the track be a little bit different. Is it riding much different to normal?
No, I think it's kind of riding the way that we'd hope, and we hope to have it each week. You know, it's been a little bit hit and miss early on this season with the weather, but you know, so far so good.
Yeah, we're just seeing on the replay there your heat one from earlier and now this race here. So you can have a good look for Richard Lawson there going the first turn. That's obviously, to me, as a rider, showing confidence, but also the will to get a team through and to do well tonight.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's important. You know, I know Gate 3's been really good tonight, and I expected Rich to be coming around. So, you know, just gave him a quick look and left plenty of room there. So he had enough space to do what he needed to in that first bend.
Okay, well, thanks for chatting, Max. Let you get back to it. Back to you, Kelf.
Yeah, thanks, Scotty. Good interview there with Max Frick, who has had a couple of rides and a couple of wins, so going along very nicely indeed. 23 points to 13. Of course, Peter Schroek can make a change if he wishes, and has, as far as I'm aware, he has resisted that temptation here in heat number 7. Wants to give Charles Wright, Maciej Janowski, a second run. He'll be hoping that they can produce the goods here out of gates 1 and 3, the visitors. We're looking at Ryan Douglas as he makes his way to the tapes. We're on board with Ryan. Hasn't had a great night so far, Ryan, but we'll wait and see. Yeah. Line up for heat number 7. Charles Wright from the inside in white. Ryan Douglas out of gate number 2 in red. Gate number 3 in yellow is Maciej Janowski and Drew Kemp, who goes from the outside in blue. He was very impressive in heat number 2. Certainly roared around the outside in the first corner, fired himself to the front down the back straight. And I've got to say, from that point on, Craig Cook just couldn't quite get to him. This one, though, Ryan Douglas, Drew Kemp. Well, they're off 2 and 4. Drew Kemp, that hasn't worked well, gate 4 this evening. So this potentially could be an opportunity for the Spires to get amongst the points here. A 5-1 would be very timely. Peter Schroek there just focusing on the upcoming races, but he'll be focusing on his programme as well, because if they're 6 or more behind, they can make a tack sub, and he'll be looking for the upcoming races, if it remains so, to make a change. Riders taking their time tonight, getting themselves ready. As I say, it is a time now, I would suggest, for Maciej Janowski to hit the front. Hasn't won that many races in Britain since his return. As I say, there's been no lack of effort, just hasn't been able to get himself to the front. I think if he does, he'll be a hard man to beat. Here we go, heat number 7 tapes up into that first turn, and what a start it is there. Ryan Douglas roaring out of that, roaring around the outside is Janowski, but he's back into 3rd place. Got to say, Charles Wright has come through into 2nd. In front, Ryan Douglas, who went too wide initially. Oh, it's tight there with Drew Kemp now, putting Maciej Janowski under all sorts of pressure. And Drew Kemp has ridden really well there to get the better of the international Polish rider and has come through into third place. Fair play to him. But out in front, Douglas going great guns. Charles Wright giving chase back in second. Oh, Drew Kemp's gone too wide. And that's allowed Janowski back up into third place. He didn't need a second invitation for that, that's for sure. We're out in front, we've got a lap to go. Douglas is going great. He's got this one in the bag. Sharp away from the tapes. Looks good out in front. It's going to be a shared heat. The Spires needed more than that. So no real damage done for the home team. So Douglas wins for the first time this evening. Drew Kemp will be really disappointed with that after riding so well to get the better of Janowski initially, but then ran too wide and gifted it back. Charles Wright back in second place. But for Ryan Douglas, the Australian rider, what a start that was, and he showed really good speed out in front. At one point that bike was pulling his arms off. Really was going great. So a nice celebratory lap for Ryan Douglas, and a good healthy round of applause for him. Rightly so, he makes his way back to the pit area. So the result of heat number 7 for you. Ryan Douglas, a nice ride out in front, 3 points for him. Charles Wright back in second place, 2 points. Maciej Janowski through into third, 1 point for him, and Drew Kemp misses out in heat number 7. Let's take a look at it again. Tapes are up, and away we go. Got to say there, I thought for a moment Janowski was going to get there, but then just lifted a little bit too much. Nice clean run to the first corner from Ryan Douglas. Roars down the back straight on the back wheel. Covers the move from Janowski on the outside. Again, from the tapes into the first corner. We've got Charles Wright there on the inside for the Spires. Janowski coming round the outside, and Drew Kemp coming through there at one point into third place, which was a smashing effort from him, but he then made a mistake and run just a little bit wide there. The bike just straightening up momentarily, and then he runs too wide, and that allows Maciej Janowski to slip back into third place. No such trouble for that man out in front, Ryan Douglas. He had a smashing ride. Right, let's get some more reaction. It's Abby this time.
It's so interesting. I always say this, but we've got the monitor down in the pit area, and I can say that during that last replay, you had Janowski and Charles Wright. They're within inches of that replay, just studying their lines. Ryan Douglas just behind him, and then Drew Kemp. So they're all just seeing how they can make improvement as this meeting approaches the halfway mark. If you want to ask Scotty Nicholls any questions, that hashtag tonight, LEIOFF, use it on any of your social. Why does it make me laugh? I have no idea, but it is a hashtag LEIOFF. Use it on your social media platform of choice. I will get those questions to Scotty. Coming back with more action very soon.
It's a smashing start
And
initially
back here
from
at Perry
Douglas.
Barber, it's Birmingham against Ipswich. 13 points to 11 to the home side after 4 races. Heat 5 gets underway. Bit of an edge there by Nikolai Clinton. Yellow, he's missed the start, and Saifudinov has come around the outside. And Saifudinov, with one of his first 2 races, has got the advantage here for the Ipswich Witches. With in second place, it's Zach Cook in red. Nikolai Clinton, yellow, trying to get round the outside of Justin Sedgman. He's done so. He's come through into third place. So he's split the Birmingham combination. And Nikolai Clinton standing in here as a guest tonight, because, of course, there are 3 Ipswich riders missing. Danny King, Jason Doyle and Adam Ellis all ruled out, but Nikolai Clint coming in as a guest, and he's come through into third place there at the expense of Justin Sedgman. Zach Cook in second place, but no stopping the man out in front, Emil Saifudinov, who's been a bit down on form early in the campaign for the Witches by his standards, but he's come roaring back in the last 2 meetings with that fantastic show at Kings Lynn on Thursday night, and looking every inch unbeatable here so far at Perry Barber this evening. He is well clear of Zach Cook, with Nikolai Clint in third place. This one will level the scores here with 5 heats gone, and Saifudinov takes the victory over Zach Cook. Third, Nikolai Clint, and it's 15 points apiece. Start line then for heat number 6 with the scores all square. Green light comes on, and a bit of movement there, and it's Keenan Rue in yellow into the tapes for the Ipswich Witches, and Keenan Rue frustration there. That will be disqualification, and that will be Jordan Jenkins coming in to replace. Restart then of Heat 6, and Batchelor off the inside appeared to move but gets away with it and moves on. Around the outside in blue goes Steve Worrell to take the advantage, and there's trouble for Piotr Pawlicki in red. Pawlicki is out of contention, so Steve Worrell here has the advantage for the Brummies, but the Witches run second and third with Troy Batchelor and Jordan Jenkins, and Pawlicki, some kind of mechanical gremlin on the first turn. He is going round well behind at the back. Steve Worrell having a decent night so far after a second place first time out. Now he race leads in Heat 6. He leads ahead of Troy Batchelor, with Jordan Jenkins in third, replacing the disqualified Keenan Rowe, and it looks like being a shared heat here, which will maintain the level situation. A very tight contest indeed between the Brummies and the injury hit Witches, who came back for a super heat on Thursday at Kings Lynn. They were 14 points down after 8 heats on Thursday, and they came back and they got to 45 points apiece, and then they won it in a super heat with Adam Ellis and Emil Saifudinov. Ellis then picked up a knock in France on Sunday, so not racing here today, and Steve Worrell takes the flag in Heat 6 for the Birmingham Brummies over Troy Batchelor, with Jordan Jenkins third for a shared heat, and with 6 gone, that makes it 18 points apiece. On we go to Heat 7. Tom Brennan, Victor Lampard, Nikolai Clint and Dan Thompson is the lineup. Flying start by Lampard there in blue. Lampard leads Clint into bends 1 and 2. Around the outside goes Dan Thompson in yellow, gets the better of Tom Brennan. 3-3 situation once again here in Heat 7. Victor Lampard out in front for Birmingham. Nikolai Clint in second, and round the outside in red goes Tom Brennan, trying to get the better of Dan Thompson into lap 2. Brennan well out wide on bend 2. Slingshots off the bend and through into third place he goes. Brennan passes Thompson. This could edge Birmingham back in front as we approach the halfway stage. So far Victor Lampard holding a really nice line out in front. Nikolai Clint chasing hard in second. Tom Brennan third. Clint now pegs the inside off the second bend. Lampard a bit wide out there, and Nikolai Clint goes charging through, and Clint gets the advantage now over Lampard. Puts Ipswich back in the race lead here for a 3-3 situation with 1 lap to go. Clint with the lead. Second place Lampard. Third Brennan. Thompson was squeezed out by Brennan early on, but Nikolai Clint with a superb ride to hit the front there. And that is going to put the scores level once again with 7 hits gone. Super ride by Nikolai Clint to win it. Second place Victor Lampard. Third place Tom Brennan. We are still all square with 7 hits gone. Birmingham 21, Ipswich 21.
It is Leicester Lions versus Oxford Spires, and after 7 heats, it is Oxford Spires who are trailing the home side this evening by 10 points. We heard from earlier this evening doing the live draw for the British final. Darren Fletcher will be speaking over all the coverage of the Champions League final, Dortmund versus Real Madrid, and you can watch it on TNT Sports. Darren, of course, is the lead commentator. You can also enjoy Opal Hunter's Red Dirt Road Trip. That's available now on Discovery Plus, as well as 90 Day Fiancé. And I believe, Scott Nichols, you've got something for us.
Yeah, thanks, Abby. Just he wasn't one of the riders, Kel's riders to pick, but I was going to have a little chat about Maciej Janowski, who's sensational to see him back in British Speedway, but he's not having the great time. But you can see Maciej right there. He's so determined to put things right, but you can see tonight here he's stuck in traffic here. He's in third place. He's riding his socks off here, trying to get the better of Luke Becker. But for Maciej, he's come over here and I don't know what's really going on with it. His gating has been letting him down a little bit at the moment. You see here, he makes the start of gate 3. He's not quite there. He's willing to bite to the first turn. Does everything he can to get around the outside of Dougie there. His bike is hooking up, but for whatever reason, Maciej Janowski's he's willing the bike, he's trying his hardest, but he just can't seem to get it to work at the moment. He's stuck in traffic. Drew Kemp gets up the inside of him here, and you know, when you've got a rider of Maciej Janowski's class struggling the way he is, I know it's amazingly frustrating for him, but he will do his best to absolutely turn it around. A rider of that class doesn't just give up that easily. But this British Speedway, it's tough, and there's some more racing going on tonight. It's been tough everywhere else. Dave Rowe, will hand over to you.
Thank you, Scott. Very tight contest here at Perry Bar, where Ipswich levelled the scores after Heat 5 with a 4-2 from Emil Saifudinov and Nikolai Clint. And here is a move by Nikolai Clint in Heat 7, surging inside Victor Lampard just when Birmingham looked set to retake the advantage, because Tom Brennan in third place had passed Dan Thompson. But that move by Nikolai Clint, who's guesting for the Witches tonight, keeping the scores all square. This one could go right down to the wire. Clint taking the win in Heat 7, and we are all square here. Birmingham 21, Ipswich 21.
Dave, thank you. Have Oxford Spires gone answer for Leicester Lions? Second half of the meetings, Heat 8, and over to Calvin.
Yeah, thanks very much, Abby. As I say, the home team are going along very nicely indeed. Evidently, I've been pronouncing the young man's name incorrectly. Twitter's gone absolutely viral, evidently, because I've been saying it incorrectly. I did ask his team manager prior to the event starting, but it's Beaumont. I hope that I've got that correct now, but apologies to those people that are so offended. But there we are. They'll just have to be. So heat number 8 is with us, and it's an opportunity once again for the Spires to bounce back. And we've got the home team with Richard Lawson here in heat number 8. That's a strong, experienced man for that race. Stuart Dixon just having a check on his program. Riders up at tapes, digging around. As I say, the track seems to be behaving really nicely. Max Frick in his interview with Scott was complimentary about that, which is good. Weather has been awful at times this year so far, so it has been difficult for track curators up and down the country to get the track absolutely spot on. But there's no doubt that it's certainly riding very nicely this evening. Line up for heat number 8. Off the inside is Ashton Beaumont, and gate number 1 in yellow. Gate number 2 in blue is Sam Hagan. Eric Riss comes out of gate number 3 in white, and Richard Lawson off the outside in the red helmet colour, excuse me. As I say, it's the midway point of the evening, and you've got to believe that the Leicester Lions are in the driving seat. No changes in heat number 8, you're not allowed to, but in the upcoming races there may be. Peter Schroek does have that luxury. He can do a tactical substitute, but it's not an easy call. Heat number 9, Cook's in there. Harris, he won't want to pull them out. Real triers. Here we go then. Heat number 8. Tapes are up into the first corner, and the Oxford boys are away. Oh, the red lights are on. Red lights are on. Going to be a restart. Christina Turnbull, the referee, feeling that that was an unsatisfactory start. Not quite sure why. We'll see on the replays if there was some movement. Quite possibly there was. Oh yeah, just on the inside there. Young Ashton Beaumont just a little bit impetuous away from the tapes. And the youngster will have now a warning that he'll have to carry for the rest of the evening. And the red light came on pretty promptly there. So riders back round to the tapes immediately, going through their procedure once again. The youngster hasn't had a great night so far, so desperate to try and get away from the inside. Pressure building on them as a team as well as individually. Restart of heat number 8 then coming for you. Ashton Beaumont on the inside in yellow. Gate number 2 in blue is Sam Hagan. Eric Riss out of gate number 3 in white, and Richard Lawson gate number 4 in red. Matsej Janowski keenly looking on, looking for his first win of the evening. Will we see it in heat number 10 when he's due to come back out? So riders just making their way forward now. Start Marshall is hemmed in by 2 riders there. He's going to have to turn sideways to get out. There we go. He moves away. Tapes are up into the first turn. Tight into the first turn. Really close indeed. Got to say Sam Hagan's right there. Around the outside comes Richard Lawson, but out in front. Brilliant stuff there from Eric Riss again. Eric Riss is having a smashing night. Beaumont has come through into 3rd place. Good ride from him. And that's good news for the Oxford Spires, because they've got a heat advantage for the second time this evening. That'll be a 4-2. Eric Riss is having a good night. Oh, that's a shame. That's a great shame for young Ashton. Dashing away because he's seen his teammate out in front. He doesn't want the race stopped. Just about going to get the bike off in time. And Eric Riss has cleared off out in front. And that's a shame for the Spires. They were looking like they could get a heat advantage, and now it's going to be a shared race. Eric Riss looking good out in front here. Richard Lawson back in 2nd place with young Sam Hagan in 3rd. Out of the last corner, checkered flag for Riss. That's his second win of the evening. Good stuff from him. He moves on to 7 points in total, so he's having a good night. Shame for young Beaumont. He hasn't scored so far this evening. That's a real shame, particularly in the context of the evening when they're 10 points down and they remain so. Eric Riss having a good night, but as a team, the Spires are struggling. It was Lambert, Lawson there, back in second place. So let's have a look at the result then for heat number 8. Eric Riss out in front, 3 points for him. Richard Lawson, 2 points in second place. Sam Hagan, 1 point in third, and young Ashton Beaumont failing to score in heat number 8. We'll see it once again. So this is the second time of asking, of course. It's tight into the first corner, but Eric Riss makes that gate number 3 work. He clamps it across there of young Sam Hagan on the way to the first corner and stamps his authority on the race. We'll see it again into the first corner. It's tight there, isn't it? But Riss gets there nicely. Richard Lawson comes roaring around the outside. So now we see the youngster here, Ashton Beaumont, just coming off here, just gets it wrong there and has to bail off there, which was a shame for him and for the team, of course, because they were on a heat advantage at that stage. So it ended up being a 3-all, and so the points remain the same. So let's get some reaction now. Scotty, you're down there.
Yeah, thanks, Kelv. I am with Oxford team manager Peter Schrock. Peter, it's not going to plan. I believe you're going to make a change in this heat.
Yeah, going to do tackle this up and bring our number 1 in, Ryan Tungate, for Craig Cook.
Yeah, it's been a tough night. Can you put your finger on where it's kind of gone wrong?
It's all off the starts, you know. It's getting into the first corners and then everybody sort of follows each other a little bit, so it's a little bit difficult. But hopefully, listen, we're not going under yet. You know, I'm going to try to do something now and bring some of the big guns in and see if we can sort of recover a little bit and then go from there.
Let's get that momentum shifted. Good luck, Peter. Thanks for chatting. Back to you, Kelv.
Yeah, thank you very much, Scott. Vital information. And there's no doubt that Chris Harris now being partnered by Rowan Tungate, Craig Cook being taken out of the heat. So Tungate, who has been battling hard this evening, but hasn't had a lot of points. But there's no doubt that it wasn't an easy choice for that man at this stage, but he has reacted and he's had the facility and he's taken it. He's seen Tungate being in good form throughout the season, so he's trusting that form to come good here now, and they need it. 10 points down, 29 points to 19. Past the midway point, heat 9, excuse me. Heat number 9, Chris Harris off the inside in white. Luke Becker out of gate number 2 in blue. Ryan Tungate, gate number 3 in yellow. He is the tactical substitute for the Oxford Spires, and Sam Masters, who's going along very nicely tonight. He is going from the outside gate in the red helmet colour. As I say, 19 points to 29. 10 points is the deficit for the Oxford Spires. They need to turn it around now, try and get a bit of momentum going. It was unfortunate in heat number 8 when they were looking like they were going to be able to get a 4-2 and reduce the lead to 8, and it didn't happen. So they're now looking for the second half. Maybe it will be a game of 2 halves tonight. There we go. Ooh, bit of a lastminute.com here. With we've got how many riders on the track here now? This is rather odd. We've got 5 riders for a 4-rider race. Not quite sure what's gone on here. This is very bizarre. With 5 riders coming out, I don't really quite know. There's obviously been some communication problems here, because it looked to me that young Eric Riss came charging out for a back-to-back ride. I don't quite know what's going on. He's now made his way back into the pits, and we're not going to have a 5-man race. Oxford were obviously going to go for 3 representatives and pick up some extra points. Here we go then, heat number 9. Green light is on, the tapes are up, and we're away. And into that first corner, it's Tungate, the tank's up. What a smashing start from him. Harris is up the inside, he slips back into 3rd place. Brilliant stuff there from Luke Becker. Becker's come through. Sorry, excuse me, it's Sam Masters. excuse me, in the red helmet colour. He's come through in a second place. Harris is giving chase. Becker's right there in fourth, but Tungate's away. He's got speed in front. Now, can Harris do anything about Masters? Harris is coming on strong here, looking for a way through. Masters is having to ride a very wide motorbike. Here comes Harris now, trying to go down the inside. No room there. Becker's now coming through into it. This is tight, really tight for second, third and fourth. Harris is going wide, very wide again. Vulnerable to Becker. Masters is hanging tough in second place. Tungate, as I say, cruising out in front. They need a 5-1, the Spires. Not quite going to get it. Brilliant ride from Tungate. Good move there from Schrock. Pulls it off. That man sharp away from the tape. Smashing race. Really was, with Chris Harris doing everything he possibly could, but just not been able to get the better of Sam Masters. But Rowan Tungate, he wins his first race of the evening, and at a very timely moment. So Tungate out in front, 3 points for him. Sam Masters back in second place, 2 points. Chris Harris back in third, 1 point for him, and Luke Becker missing out in heat number 9. A 4-2 to the visitors. Handy points, so very nearly could have had a 5-1. So Peter Schrock, all of a sudden, making his move. And it has paid off a wee bit there. So let's take another look at it. Tapes are up into that first corner. Rowan Tungate, the tactical substitute here, makes a lovely start from gate number 3. He's up the banking, charges down the back straight. Sam Masters through into second place, but he has to work hard because he's got Chris Harris chasing him for 4 laps. Again from the tapes into their first turn. Harris is there, but here comes Sam Masters. He swoops round the outside into second place, sets about Tungate, but he can do nothing about Tungate. Tungate's got plenty of speed. He goes further and further. Here's the action. It really was tight here for second, third and fourth. Harris was trying everything he knew. All his racing acumen on the line here, no doubt about that. Up high on the banking, trying to get his wheels in line, but there was no moving Sam Masters. He rode a solid race in second place to hang tough. So good speedway there in heat number 9. 31 points to 23 after 9 races. And we're moving into heat number 10, where we'll see Max Frick for the 3rd time. Frick is unbeaten so far this evening and is having a lovely night. Richard Lawson's having a good night as well. He's going along very nicely. He's had a couple of 5-1s and a second place, so he's doing okay. Line up for heat number 10. Maciej Janowski goes from the inside in the yellow helmet colour. Richard Lawson's alongside him in gate number 2 in blue. Charles Wright, gate number 3 in white. And Max Frick off that outside gate in red. That's been tough. Might be able to do something down the back straight on the opening lap, getting some momentum there. But gates 1 and 3 for the Oxford Spires. Got some pictures from the drone there. Look at that. That's pretty cool. Like that one. Looking down. Having a good look at Beaumont Park there from the clouds. Here we go then. Heat number 10. Can the Oxford Spires keep battling back in here? They've had a little bit of a go in the previous race with a 4-2. With gates 1 and 3 here, who knows? Maybe an opportunity. What a moment for Maciej Janowski there. Such a classy rider. We have won the league, of course, previously with the Poole Pirates back in the teens. Spent a lot of time outside British Speedway, but lost his Grand Prix status last season. Elected to come back into British Speedway, which there was a lot of excitement about it. It hasn't quite worked yet, to be perfectly honest, and I'm sure he's trying his very, very best to try and really get amongst the points. So, riders taking their time tonight to come forward. They do now. So, settling down now for heat number 10. 8 points is the difference. Tapes up. We're away into that first corner. It's tight. Janowski on the inside, shuffles them all up. Look at this down the back straight. Oh, Richard Lawson round the outside. Frick's there as well up the inside of Janowski. Janowski, who made a great start initially. He's now back up the inside of Frick. He's done remarkably well there. Charles Ryder's at the back. Here we go again. Richard Lawson's out in front. Frick's coming down the inside. Oh, this is a fabulous Speedway race with Max Frick pushing so very hard. He's gone up into second place. Proper Speedway here in heat number 10. Tough Speedway as well. But at the conclusion of those fabulous opening laps, Richard Lawson strutting his stuff out in front. Max Frick having to work really hard to come through in the second place. Janowski again is right there. Oh, tight coming out of turn number 2 on the final lap. And at the conclusion, it's a fabulous result for the home team, and they are in charge tonight. That's another 5-1, a maximum score, and this pair have worked beautifully together. They had 2 5-1s previously. Max Frick remains unbeaten by an opponent. Richard Lawson is enjoying a lovely night of Speedway. He's only dropped 1 point tonight to an opponent, but that's a big result in heat number 10 for the home team. They move out to a 12-point lead at the conclusion of heat number 10. Max Frick remaining unbeaten by an opponent. Here's the result. What a result for the home team. Richard Lawson out in front. Really nice ride from Lawson. 3 points for him. Max Frick had to work really hard. 2 points for him. Matej Janowski. You've got to feel for Janowski. He deserves more than that, but just didn't quite work out. 1 point for him, and Charles Wright misses out in heat number 10. Got to say that this was arguably the race of the night so far. Into that first turn, it's tight, really 3 abreast as they go up the banking, but Janowski almost had 2 of them going either side of him there. Richard Lawson got to the front, but fair play. Frick gets up the inside as they go into turn number 3, but Janowski replays the compliment as they complete the first lap by getting back up the inside. Look how tight this was. This was really hustle. But look at Janowski there. He read that nicely, got himself back up the inside, but fair play to Frick also. He was able to then pounce back and managed to fire himself back into second place to join his teammate out in front. This is the last lap, round the last corner, and the Lions are back in front, and a maximum score for them. And they're now moving on to 36 points to 24. There's the drone. And just giving us another bird's eye view of what's going on tonight. Richard Lawson's had a smashing night. He'll be chuffed to bits with that, doing a fine job for the Leicester Lions. And of course, Max Frick, who is got 8 paid 9 so far from his 3 rides. So that's a terrific return for him, and he's doing a fine job. Just having a bit of a debrief with his team and his crew. But they're going along very nicely indeed. Had to work harder there that time though, Max Frick. And he did it in style. Heat number 11, we're on board once again with Ryan Douglas, who's had a pretty good night tonight. Ryan Douglas, been sharp away from the tapes. It's looking like he's going to be going from the inside gate this time. See what he's getting up to there with a bit of digging around on the start line. That's heat number 11 then. Ryan Douglas from the inside in red. Rowan Tungate, who was a fine winner last time as a tactical substitute. Gate number 2 in white. Gate number 3 in blue is Drew Kemp. So Drew Kemp. And off the outside is Eric Riss in the yellow helmet colour, and Eric Riss has had a really good night. He's picked up a couple of wins and a 3rd place. Can he keep it going here now? Can the Oxford Spires do anything about the Lions? Because the Lions just seem to be that little bit better tonight. They are in good form, and they have a 12-point lead at this stage. 5 races to go. Still mathematically possible, of course, but the clock is ticking on the Oxford Spires here this evening. Riders coming forward now, settling down. Start Marshall just moving right across to the outside where Eric Riss is, just taking a closer look at what he is doing. Should be all right there, he's perfectly okay. Chris Harris looking on as well. Right, oh, a bit of movement there from Tungate. Yeah, red lights on. Ryan Tungate, he just moved a bit early there. So referee putting the red light on straight away. So riders just gently making their way. We'll see clearly. Gate number 2. There he is. There it is. He does well. I don't think he touched the tapes. No exclusion lights have come on. So all 4 back, and a warning to Rowan Tungate with the white helmet colour on. So, he'll have to. If he does that again, he'll be out of the race. Restart for heat number 11. Second time of asking. Ryan Douglas off the inside in red. Rowan Tungate, gate number 2 in white. Drew Kemp, gate number 3 in blue. And Eric Riss off the outside in yellow. As I say, this is crunch time now, really, for that man and his team, Peter Schroek. The Oxford Spires just haven't quite. They've been second best so far. You can't call it any other way. 12 points back. Mathematically, of course, they can battle back into it. They're going to need a couple of 5-1s. That would be very handy indeed, and then it would look very different, and the momentum would swing very quickly the other way. Sam Masters there, pretty relaxed. Dear, oh dear. Don't know how much time we've got left, but Rowan Tungate is riding the track round the wrong way. And that could be quite exciting if they went roaring down the back straight, but he's making his way back now to the start line. Now we've got the other Oxford Spar going back the other way. So just taking their time here once again. So yeah, this is remarkably slow. Anyway, riders are finally now making their way forward. Well, no, I thought they were, but still not lined up. Here we go. So, Rowan Tungate has come forward. So, this is, as I say, for the Oxford Spires with Tungate and Riss. Can they produce something this time? Into the first corner. Not looking good at this stage. The Leicester Lions have fired themselves. Drew Kemp out of that first turn. Rowan Tungate there just trying to roar around the outside in turns 3 and 4, but Ryan Douglas in second place with Drew Kemp out in front. Tight as they come to complete the first lap. Tungate's right there. But Drew Kemp, this is another good response from the youngster. He's been up and down tonight, but certainly in this one he's out in front, he's looking good. Ryan Douglas is there, now just protecting him a little bit. Rowan Tungate trying to get into it. This is another maximum score on the cards for the Leicester Lions, who have, as I said prior to this race, they've just been a little bit better than the Oxford Spires. I've got to say that Rowan Tungate is really trying his heart out in third place. He's got one last chance now around this final corner. Can he make it work? I can't. Drew Kemp, that's a good ride from Kemp there. That's a very handy win for him, and another maximum score, of course, for the home team. They move on to 41 points, closing in on the win tonight. It's looking very likely that's going to happen now. They're not quite there, of course. They need to get to 45. But for Ryan Douglas, a nice second place there. But as I say, for Drew Kemp, that was an impressive ride for him. The younger part of the partnership, as it were. But Ryan Douglas on board with him as he makes his way back to the pits. But that man, that was a good ride. He had a really good ride earlier on in the night, but then sort of like dipped out a bit. But that time, terrific stuff from him. So there we are, we're looking down from the drone as we do our results. Drew Kemp, 3 points for him. Ryan Douglas back in second place, 2 points. Rowan Tungate, 1 point for him. And Eric Riss, for the first time tonight, misses out in heat number 11. So we'll look at it here. Tapes are up. And initially off the inside, it's a super start from Ryan Douglas. Here comes Kemp. Kemp gets a lovely run into that first corner from gate number 3. Tungate's there, he's there all the time in truth. Eric Riss just being trapped. That gate, the outside gate, didn't work well for him. See it again. And it's the Leicester Lions boys that they've charged themselves to the front. Drew Kemp down the back straight, he's looking good out in front. And as I say, Ryan Douglas does a nice job there, just protecting him a little bit, because Rowan Tungate was going great guns back in 3rd place. Kemp delighted with that, rightly so, smashing ride for him. And the Leicester Lions in real charge here. They're going along very nicely indeed. Let's get some more reaction. Scotty Nicholls is down there.
Yeah, thanks, Kelvis. Just going to chat about your men to watch, and over my right-hand shoulder, Max Frick's boys are just having a tinker with his bike, mate. He's been on the money tonight, unbeaten by the opposition so far, and it's a much more happy mood in the Leicester camp. So I nearly went A over T on Ryan Douglas's bike there, but you can see the Leicester boys are pretty happy with their setup. Obviously, Max Frick's action is in shot tonight. He's having a great night, battling away with Magic Janowski, who's battled hard for his points tonight, but just doesn't seem to have been able to get the results. And as we slide our way up to Kelvin's other man to watch, which is Craig Cook, who was sadly taken out of his last race, so he hasn't had any of that track time just yet, but just saying he's not happy with the bike at the starts. He's kind of struggling to get out of the starts, but obviously the team Oxford boys are having a meeting over my shoulder there. Obviously they're not happy. Team manager Peter Schrock has really got to try and get something to pull these boys together, because it's getting very short now. There's the boys there. I'm really not too sure what they can pull out of the bag. The Leicester boys are certainly dominating, but while they have a chat, I'll hand back to you, Abby.
Scotty, two very contrasting scenes. You're seeing the Oxford Spires having their team meeting. Just in front of me, there's some steps, and I can just see Max Frick just sitting down the steps having a chat with Richard Lawson, super relaxed. The two of them have been doing some great team riding. 5-5-1s for Leicester this evening. After a couple of home losses, they've been the dominant team tonight. Any questions for Scotty Nicholls? That hashtag LIOX, and I'll make sure I ask them after the break.
Back here at Perry Bar, 21 points apiece between Birmingham and Ipswich. And here is Nikolai Clint in the white helmet colour in Heat 8, making a flying start from the outside for the Ipswich Witches. But Leon Flint and Steve Worrell packing in 2nd and 3rd over Jordan Jenkins. Obviously, when Nikolai Clint makes a fast start, he is very hard indeed to pass. And he was a clear winner of Heat 8, his 2nd win of the meeting, leaving the scores at 24 points apiece after 8 heats. Heat number 9, and it's a good start by Justin Sedgman in blue. Round the outside goes Keenan Rue in yellow, giving it big round turns 1 and 2, and Keenan Rue gets right round the outside, front wheel up in the air, but he gets into bend 3 in front. It's Keenan Rue in front of Justin Sedgman, with Zach Cook in 3rd place and Troy Batchelor out the back. Super move there by Keenan Rue, who broke the tapes in his previous ride, but has hit straight back in Heat 9 with a really good move around the first 2 turns to get round the outside of Justin Sedgman and have the advantage. But his teammate Troy Batchelor out the back, so this close contest at Perry Bar looks set to continue. Nothing between the Brummies and the Witches as things stand, and Keenan Rue, who failed to score at Kings Lynn on Thursday night, but this will be a morale-boosting race win for him. He was key in a recent away win at Leicester for the Witches, and certainly going well here on his first trip to Perry Bar this evening with that good ride on turns 1 and 2. He's had control over Justin Sedgman, who knows every inch of the circuit from his previous spells with Birmingham. Zach Cook in 3rd place. This will be a shared heat once again, and with 9 heats gone, scores still all square at Perry Bar, 27 points apiece. Heat 10 at the start line, Piotr Pawlicki and Steve Worrell, and they've squeezed out Dan Thompson into the first bend, and Keenan Rue taking the rider replacement ride. He can't make it through either, and this could be big for Birmingham in Heat 10, because Piotr Pawlicki has got the bike sorted in this one. He's looking over his shoulder. He's almost stopping off turn 4 to see his teammate coming through on the inside. Steve Worrell alongside him. At the moment, Dan Thompson and Keenan Rue can do nothing about it for the Ipswich Witches, and this could be the first big move of the meeting for the Brummies. We've not seen a 5-1 yet so far. This could be the first one of the night. Keenan Rue has dropped back out the back, so Dan Thompson with the chase in third place, but so far it's perfect team riding from Pawlicki and Worrell out in front to give Birmingham the advantage in the meeting with just over a lap to go. And the Pole Pawlicki, when he gets out in front, does look very much a class act. He's getting the hang of the Perry-Bar circuit after a delayed start to the season due to injury. Lifts off the second bend, well controlled there. Worrell in second place, Thompson in third, and Birmingham get a big 5-1 out of heat 10, and they go 4 points in front, 32 points to 28 after 10 races. On we go to heat number 11. Emil Sayfudinov off the inside for the Ipswich, which is unbeaten so far. Makes a horrendous start then off the inside. Sayfudinov, Tom Brennan is there, Victor Lampard is there, and Birmingham on a 5-1 in heat number 11 because Nikolai Clint missed out as well. Now what can Sayfudinov do from the back? It's Brennan with the advantage. It's Lampard in second place, Sayfudinov in third, and this is disaster here for the Ipswich Witches, who conceded a 5-1 in heat 10. It could be the same again here, although not if Sayfudinov can do anything about Victor Lampard in that race for second place. Tom Brennan out in front. Now Sayfudinov going for the move around the outside off the fourth turn. He's squeezed his way round Lampard. He's through into second place, and now he'll chop back for the inside to put an attack in on Tom Brennan. Brennan leads from Sayfudinov then. Lampard in third, and still Birmingham holding a 4-2 situation, but Sayfudinov again goes wide on turns 3 and 4. Brennan mid-tracks try and block him, and Sayfudinov turns back for the inside. What a move by Sayfudinov, gets inside Tom Brennan, but then swings out wide off bend 2. Brennan turns back for the inside and repasses him. Tom Brennan back in front of Emil Sayfudinov. Race of the night so far, fantastic stuff, and Tom Brennan comes through for a brilliant victory. Brennan over Sayfudinov with Lampard in third place. 4-2 to the Brummies. They lead by 6. It's Birmingham 36, Ipswich 30.
And with 4 heats remaining here in Leicester, it is the Lions that have a 16-point advantage over the Oxford Spires. Let's get the latest then from Birmingham and with Dave.
Where Birmingham went 4 points in front with a big 5-1 in heat 10 from Pawlicki and Worrell, and this is heat number 11 where they're on a 5-1 again here with Tom Brennan and Victor Lampard. Emil Sayfudinov unbeaten so far, going round Lampard into the third lap and now putting pressure on Tom Brennan, and this is a very important race in the meeting with Sayfudinov again going big around turns 3 and 4, going wide, then turning back to the inside. Sayfudinov hits the front on Tom Brennan, but the Birmingham man switching back superbly off the second bend. Brennan going back inside Sayfudinov, and Sayfudinov this time cannot respond. Fantastic ride by Tom Brennan to beat Emil Sayfudinov with Lampard in third place. It's Birmingham 36, Ipswich 30.
Dave, thank you. Well, I've been asking you to use that hashtag, and you have. And here are some questions. Scotty, are you ready?
No.
This is a big moment of the night. From Philly Mogg. As a newcomer to watching Speedway, he's a big MotoGP fan. Hope it's not a silly question, but does heat in the tyres matter on dirt?
It does. No such thing as a silly question. It's a good question, actually. When the temperature get cold, the tyres go harder. So what you'll see is the boys, when they come in, the temperature of the tyre will go up, which means the tyre pressure will go up. So tyre pressure is a real key element, the same as it would be in MotoGP. We're not allowed to warm the tyres. Now, the riders used to actually warm the tyre on the side stand at the start gate to get some heat into the tyre, because it softens the tyre, gets more grip. But we're not allowed to do that now.
Shame. From Stuart Bell. Stuart is always very lively on social media. Why is Leicester a gate and go track? Still, what can they do to improve the chances of overtaking?
It's always down to track conditions, because I disagree that it's a gate and go track. Tonight perhaps it is a little bit, but I rode here for a few seasons and saw some fantastic racing. Obviously that they probably couldn't put as much material on the track today and get as much water into it because there was a threat of rain, and then not as much rain came as they wanted. But I think tonight it's just the fact that the Leicester boys they're gating better, they've got the bike dialed in better, and that's why the Oxford boys are not passing them, because Max Frick just passed Janowski back there, so you can pass.
And they're firing all together, which has been one of their problems, hasn't it, so far this season?
It's always the problem within any team sport. It's, when you're all clicking together, you kind of drag each other along. Equally, when it's not going so good, you can always drag each other down.
So last question, I was going to lead on from your dragging, but Kevin Williams, is there a reason Scott's not riding in the British finals? 7-time champion, would you just be dragging it out?
I thought you were just going to say, why am I not in drag tonight when I normally am on a Monday night? But no, sorry, that's on the way home. throw me. No.
Why aren't you competing in the
Do you
British
know
final?
what? I'm not a defeatist, but this sounds very defeatist. Bellevue's a good track. I like it. It's a fantastic racetrack, but I struggle there, you know, and those boys are quicker than me around there. If they took it away from Bellevue and put it on a more smaller technical track like these sort of places, then I'd have another crack. But also, then I don't get to work with you guys, do I? So there you go. Hope that's a good sales pitch.
Thank you. Calvin, we've only got 4 heats remaining of this evening, and you said it was a crunch meeting, but Leicester have just come out firing this tonight.
Yeah, just too good, aren't they, for the Oxford Spires this evening? I was expecting it to be tighter than this. 5-1 here, and of course it's all over if the home team can pick up a 5-1, and they will win on the night. I think it's a disappointing evening so far. The Oxford Spires could do with just dragging some sort of consolation out of it as at all possible. I don't quite know where it's coming from. When you look at the performance, I think Scotty touched on it as well. You know, the performance of Maciej Janowski, no lack of effort, but just can't quite get amongst the big points. It must be hugely frustrating for him. So here we go. Heat number 12. Line up then is Sam Masters on the inside in the red helmet colour. Craig Cook back out here again now. Gate number 2 in yellow. Sam Hagan, gate number 3 in the blue helmet colour, and Charles Wright will go from the outside in white. A 5-1 to the home team, and they'll win. That will put them on the 45-point mark. And then it's looking unlikely that the Spires are going to get anything here this evening. Hasn't been their evening so far. Sam Masters, the 2 Sams here, will they do the business and clinch the night? It would be a big night and a big result. Leicester Lions have lost a couple of times at home already, and that was a bit of a surprise. You really do need to base your season around solid, rock-solid home form. That was something they weren't expecting. So looking down on the start there, momentarily from the drone, which we're using for the first time, just getting used to it. Plenty of interest here. This could be key to the outcome. Here we go then. Heat number 12. Tapes are up. They roar into the first corner. Masters has made a really good start on the inside. But look at that from Charles Wright. Charles Wright hasn't had a good night, but he's hit the front here. He goes roaring down the back straight in front. It's a 4-2 on the cards with Craig Cook back in 3rd place. Masters is hanging on in 2nd, and young Sam Hagan is at the back. Masters coming on strong. Got to say, Charles Wright riding hard. Formerly a Bellevue ace, of course. Oh, Cook's gone down. That's bitter disappointment for him. Vital moment. That squares it all up. Just hasn't been the Oxford Spires night, has it? And as I say, when your luck's out, it's just can't get amongst the points at all. 1 lap to go. Masters has come on strong here. Charles Wright is out the back. He's really giving chase here, but I don't think he's going to quite get there. Charles Wright, for the first time, has really got himself to the front and wins reasonably comfortably there. It's a 3-all. So not quite there yet, the home team. But nonetheless, it's looking very good for them with 3 races to go and just a point required. Charles Wright, though, that will be relative. It's a bit of a consolation for Charles this evening, who had only a couple of points to his name prior to that, but a win there. But for Craig Cook, well, he was my man to watch for the Oxford Spires. Down at reserve, I was thinking he was going to have a really big night, but unfortunately for Craig, hasn't worked out that way, and he trudges his way back to the pit area. Result for heat number 12 is Charles Wright for the first time out in front. 3 points for him. Sam Masters, 2 points for him. Sam Hagan coming through into 3rd place, 1 point. And Craig Cook didn't finish there. 44 points here, the home team. Oh, violent lift there for young Sam off the start. Initially, though, Charles Wright makes a lovely run to the first corner, and that is really what helps him through to his first win of the evening. Sam Masters gives a lot of chase here. He really did work hard in 2nd place, but just couldn't get to Wright. Craig Cook there in 3rd place, and was looking okay there, was going along nicely, but then just slips off later in the race. It just runs out of throttle. Yeah, then the bike's just pulling hard on the way in. Pulling hard on the way in, and just had to get off the bike because he was running out of track rapidly on the entrance to turn number 3. But that man, no such problems. He was out in front, he enjoyed his first win of the evening, and he'll be pleased with that. Although his team, it hasn't been their evening. 28 points the Spires have got, but the Leicester Lions with a point here will wrap the night up. And as long as they have a finisher, the night will be theirs. Bank holiday Monday. It's a chilly evening now. It doesn't feel like it's nearly June, but nonetheless, it's a calm night. The wind has dropped, and it's remained dry throughout the evening, and that is a blessing. We're looking at Rowan Tungate, who's been pretty busy tonight. This is his 5th ride of the evening. We're on board once again with Ryan Douglas. So, heat number 13, a good lineup for you. 13. Rowan Tungate's going to go from the inside in the white helmet colour. Max Frick's there in gate number 2 in red. Chris Harris goes from gate number 3 in yellow, and Ryan Douglas from the Leicester Lions will go from the outside in the blue helmet colour. As I say, just a point required. They just need a finisher here, and they will win the evening. And the points will be theirs, and Stuart Dixon, their team manager, will be pleased with that. He was expecting, I spoke to him at length before the meeting, he was expecting a tough night, a hotly contested night. Got to say, the Lions have been just that bit better than the Spires this evening, and really and truthfully, they've been in control throughout. And that 5-1 in Heat 1, you've got to say, on reflection now, that kind of set the tone for the evening. And since then, as hard as the Spires have tried, it just hasn't been their night. But Heat 13 are always well worth watching. Always top quality on the start line, and we've got that here again. As I say, Max Frick is unbeaten. Will he go through the car tonight? He's looked like a hard man to beat. Ryan Douglas, cool. He's lining up close to gate number 3. You don't get away with that away from home. You might get away with that when you're at home. The start marshal can turn a bit of a blind eye there. Chris Harris there on gate number 3. Here we go then. Heat number 13 tapes up into the first corner. It's tight. Frick's got there. He claps Rowan Tungate down round the outside. Oh, look at Ryan Douglas. No room at all. Harris down the back straight. Fantastic move from Harris. Typical Harris coming through into second place. Fantastic speedway. Really tight between second and third. Frick's out in front. Harris in the thick of the action once again. Tungate got out-battled there. It was so tight with that really forceful move from Ryan Douglas to come through into third place. Frick's out in front. He's having a great night. It's tight for second and third. Look how tight it is. Harris just about hanging on. Douglas now switching to the outside. Can he wind it on? There's a lap to go. Heat number 13. This will seal the deal for the Leicester Lions. They're going to win the night. Terrific speedway. Max Frick riding out of his skin here this evening. Through the last corner, Max Frick, the number 1 man for the Leicester Lions, is riding like that tonight. He wins in fine style in heat number 13. Chris Harris, very much part of the action there with a terrifically, hotly contested battle for second and third. Rowan Tungate just got beaten up a little bit early on in the race there and failed to score. But for Max Frick, unbeaten by an opponent so far this evening. Will we see it again? I would think there's every chance in heat number 15. But heat number 13 is all about Frick. He's out in front. 3 points for him. Chris Harris riding really hard. 2 points in second place. 1 point for Ryan Douglas in third. And Rowan Tungate misses out in heat number 13. But right now, the night belongs to the Leicester Lions. Congratulations to them. They have won the league match. So here we see it again, heat number 13, tight into the first corner. Frick clamps it down on Tungate. Look at this move from Douglas, that was tight there, and Rowan Tungate, in truth, his race was done there because he had to come out of the throttle. He lost his momentum and couldn't land a blow. Meanwhile, Chris Harris has come charging round the outside and has got his way into second place. And he took advantage there. Ryan Douglas, look at this. It was tight coming off that first corner on the opening lap, and Harris really was pushing hard, trying to get the better of Frick, and Frick then had to really work hard. But look how tight that was. I didn't really appreciate it first time out, how tight that was. Harris showed a lot of bravery there to hang on in second place. Typical Harris. But for Max Frick, well, he's poetry in motion tonight. Really is looking good. And as I say, he has played a pivotal part in his team winning on the night. So here we go with heat 14. 2 races to go. We've got heat 14. Can Maciej Janowski win a race tonight? He'll be hoping so. But there's no doubt that the Oxford Spires will want to try and get some consolation, if at all possible. Luke Becker, actually, funnily enough, hasn't had a terrific night. He's struggled for points at times, but 48 points to 30, that's a conclusive win with 2 races to go. Heat number 14, Drew Kemp, off the inside in blue. Drew Kemp was really quite spectacular last time. Keep your eyes on him. Maciej Janowski has ridden really hard, but just 3 points. Gate number 2 in white. Luke Becker, gate number 3 in red for the American, and Ashton Boujon will go from the outside in the yellow helmet colour. Oh, there's a change. There's a change here. Apologies. We didn't have we've got Craig Cook there on the outside in the yellow helmet colour. Craig will be hoping for better luck this time. So heat number 14, Harris, as always, has given his very best, but it isn't their night tonight. There's the overview of the track here in Leicester. Just to confirm, it is a change here for young Ashton Boujon is out here, and Craig Cook is coming in. Right, it's Kemp on the inside, Janowski gate number 2, Luke Becker gate number 3, and Craig Cook off the outside in yellow. Tapes are up and we're underway. Heat number 14, Janowski's got there. That's more like it for him. He goes very wide though, he's left the door wide open. Would he be able to get to the front? It's tight down the back straight. He went a little bit too wide there. That allows Luke Becker to come through. He's hit the front, and the American has had to work hard for his points tonight. Certainly just lifting there, and Janowski coming through into second place now with Craig Cook back in third place. But Luke Becker there working hard, Janowski working equally hard, but can he win a race here? He's round the outside, but Luke Becker's smart now. He's just got a little bit of breathing space here as they go into the last lap. Yeah, Becker looking good. Janowski just dropping away a wee bit now. I've got to say that Craig Cook is solid in third place. It's a 3-all. Luke Becker will be pleased with that. He's won heat number 14 nicely. I thought for a moment there that Maciej Janowski was going to get the better of the opposition, but it wasn't to be. He made a very good start, but just ran a little wide in the first corner, and as a consequence, Becker was able to get up the inside. So 51 points to 33. As I say, it's a convincing win for the Leicester Lions this evening. The result of heat number 14. Luke Becker out in front, 3 points. Maciej Janowski second place, 2 points. Third place is Craig Cook, 1 for him, and Drew Kemp, who's had an up and down night. He's had wins and last places. He fails to score. Watch this on the run to the first corner. I thought Janowski makes a lovely start here, gets the bike working nicely, runs Luke Becker up the banking, but Becker read it really well. He didn't panic, he turns the bike back sharply. It's tight down the back straight, and Janowski has to give second best there as they enter the turn number 3 on the opening lap. See it again. Charging into the first corner and chopping back. And it's certainly a nice ride for the American to finish off with here. And a 3-all and a convincing win. So, yeah, for the moment, we're looking at Luke Becker, but I believe Abby is waiting patiently down in the pits.
Calvin, I've just been sussing out what's going on. This is a camaraderie amongst Speedway riders. It's all the Aussies actually chatting together with Rowan Tungate from the opposition. But it has been a convincing win for Leicester Lions tonight. But we do have one heat remaining. It's always a great heat, Heat 15, and we'll join Scott Nichols to get his picks from the managers on who's going out, the runners and riders in that heat. One heat remaining here in Leicester, but it is the Lions that take victory tonight.
And here at Perry Bar, Birmingham lead 36-30 with 4 heats to go. Here's the start of Heat 12 and a flying start too by Zach Cook in red and Victor Lampart in blue coming in to replace Leon Flint, and a good move by Sam Ermolenko to make that change as Birmingham gate on a 5-1 in Heat 12 over Troy Batchelor and Keenan Rue. This will put them 10 points in front. Lampart charging away and continuing to do so with his colleague Zach Cook in behind him in second place. Nothing that Keenan Rue or Troy Batchelor can do about it. Birmingham looking set for a home victory in this meeting against what we have to say is a depleted Witches side, but certainly an improved performance very much by Birmingham as they prepare for the arrival of Frederick Lindgren next week as well. There's a big 5-1 in Heat 12 from Lampard and Cook, making it 41-31. Heat 13 gets underway and a good start by Emil Saifoudinov in white, and Batchelor has gone there with him, and they've closed down Pavlitsky and Brennan. And can the Witches fight back in Heat 13? Emil Saifoudinov out in front. Troy Batchelor holds the inside line. There's plenty of speed about the two Birmingham riders, but they can't quite get a move done just yet. Pavlitsky trying the inside run, and Pavlitsky's inside Batchelor here, and Batchelor is squeezing back round the outside into bend 3 to keep the Witches here in with a chance. They've not used the tax sub yet so far tonight, so a 5-1 here gets the gap down to 6 points. They could still win this meeting. Saifoudinov out in front. Second place is Troy Batchelor. Pavlitsky has tried everything he knows, but so far can't quite find a way through. And Tom Brennan at the back, so looking good here for the Witches. But again, Pavlitsky trying hard around the outside. Again, he's covered off by Batchelor, who had a spell with the Brummies last season in the Championship, so knows the track very well indeed, and so far he's covering all the angles here against Piotr Pavlitsky on the final turn. Saifoudinov wins by a mile. Second place Batchelor, big 5-1, making it 42-36. Heat 14 gets underway with the attack sub in play, but he's not made the start here. Emil Saifoudinov in yellow, he's managed to get round the outside of Victor Lampard, but Justin Sedgman in red out in front here for Birmingham. And Saifoudinov so wide there off bend 4 that Lampard nearly comes back inside him. Saifoudinov back round the outside, but this will do here for Birmingham on a 4-2 in this race. Ipswich required an advantage, and so far with Keenan Rue at the back, that will do for Birmingham, even if Saifoudinov makes his way through here. Justin Sedgman out in front, Saifoudinov alongside him now off the 4th turn, but again Sedgman closes things down. He race leads over Saifoudinov. Lampard still got the 3rd to have the insurance here for Birmingham, who are going to win this meeting as things stand. 4-2 would put them 8 points in front, and it will take things level as things stand on the aggregate with 1 lap to go. Sedgman with the advantage. Second place Emil Saifoudinov has only dropped 1 point so far. It could be 2 unless he can find a way through here on Sedgman. He can't into the final bend, and Justin Sedgman comes through over Emil Saifoudinov. One last dash to the line. Sedgman wins it over Saifoudinov. Lampard in 3rd place. Birmingham win the meeting. It's the Brummies 46, Ipswich 38.
With one heat remaining here in Leicester is the Lions that have taken victory tonight because they lead by 18 points after 14 heats, 51-33. Before we join Scott Nichols, who's with the team managers, it's the start of a huge summer of sport on Eurosport and Discovery Plus. Roland Garros, the French Open, continues as Paris bids farewell to the king of clay, Rafa Nadal. The World Superbikes races throughout the summer. The 24 Hours of Le Mans returns on the 15th of June. 2 weeks later, we turn our attention to the 111th edition of the Tour de France. Every stage will be live. The Wimbledon finals highlight the grass court season, and the summer just keeps on giving us great sport. Paris Olympic Games starts on the 26th of July, and the final cycling classic of the year, La Vuelta, starts on the 17th of August. But here at Beaumont Park, it's time for Heat 15. Let's get the picks from the team managers. They're with Scott Nichols.
Yeah, thanks, Abby. I'm going to come to Oxford team manager Pete Schrock first. Pete, we had a little chat before the meeting. I said I'd be kind on you if it didn't go to plan. So, but mate, it certainly hasn't gone to plan for you tonight. And yeah, it was a night you really wanted to try and turn things around for the Spires.
Yeah, 100%. You know, I mean, listen, we're in the middle of the season. We're not looking too bad yet. Tonight, it all went wrong. You know, we're 18 down, too many last places. It's very simple. You don't have to be Einstein to work it out. So, yeah, we just have to, you know, make the best out of the last race, try and get the points down a little bit, and then they have to come to us, and we'll have to work that a little bit harder to make sure that we're going to come out on top.
You're a former rider yourself, and I know you wear your heart on your sleeve. I know you take this personally as well. You're kind of out there with the boys. What's the game plan? What do you do with the boys between now and the next match?
Yeah, we just, you know, it's keeping their morale up, you know. I mean, when you look at it tonight, it was a case of making the starts, you know, and that's where some of them let themselves down, and you know, so it was like follow the leader, and you know, that's what the racing was. So it was very critical tonight to make the starts, and Leicester, you know, they used their home track advantage, and they worked out really well. So fair play to them, you know. But they, like I said, they have to come to us now, and we'll just have to return the favour somehow.
Well, you said starts are critical, and you do have that choice in Heat 15. So who are your runners and riders for Heat 15, please, Pete?
We're going to go with Eric Riss off Gate 1 in white, and Chris Bomber-Harris in yellow off Gate 3.
Okay, thanks, Pete. Good luck to your boys. Stuart, kind of in a similar boat to Oxford tonight. You've had an up-and-down season. You really need to turn things around, and you've put in a phenomenal performance tonight.
Yeah, you're right. Our results have been mixed, very up and down, Scott, but tonight was much better. Riders asked for grippy starts tonight and a slicker track surface, which I gave them. They've responded, they've done their job. We've got 18 points, and we'd like to try and build on that in Heat 15, because we know Oxford will be a tough nut at their place next Monday.
It certainly will. The pressure's been on you. I've ridden under you before. I know you're a passionate team manager, but has the chat or anything been any different before tonight's meeting?
It was just a nice normal chat, and in the last minute or so I went a bit harder on the boys, and there's still something ringing in their ears when they walk off the track. It's a problem you do a team talk, the track walk. It's an hour before the meeting. Sometimes it can be forgotten about. But no, I got the response I wanted. We've done the job, and now we need to finish it off in Heat 15, trying to get our heat advantage.
Well, who's going to do that? Who's going to finish it off for you in Heat 15? You've got Gates 2 and 4. Who are your riders, please?
Richard Lawson will be off a red, Gate 2, and Max Frick, Gate 4, blue helmet.
Thanks. It's certainly been a powerhouse for you boys tonight. So there you have it. The Oxford Cheetahs go 1 and 3. Leicester Lions 2 and 4. Over to you, Dave Rowe, for an update at Birmingham.
Birmingham 6 points in front with 2 hits to go. Ipswich throwing it all into Heat 14 with a tactical sub-ride for Emil Saifuddinov in yellow, but he does not make the start. Justin Sedgman crucially making the start for Birmingham, while Saifuddinov is delayed by Victor Lampard, and that is the crucial moment in tonight's meeting as far as the result is concerned. Saifuddinov going so wide there off Ben 4. He tried hard to catch Sedgman, he couldn't do so. Birmingham have won this meeting, and we still have a race on here for the aggregate points, because the gap is 8. The scores are level aggregate with 1 heat to go. It's Birmingham 46, Ipswich 38.
It is time for the last heat this evening at a Pidcock Motorcycle Arena. Hand you to your commentator, who's done a sterling job by himself this evening, Kelvin Tatum.
Well, thank you very much. That's very kind of you, Abby. I appreciate it very much. Yes, it's been a tough night for the Oxford Spires, but a super night for the Leicester Lions. Good-looking race here to complete the night. Lawson and Frick have been going great guns, no doubt about that. Eric Riss has had a decent night, no real surprise to see him out here for another ride, and Harris, as always, gives of his very best. Possibly Gates 1 and 3, and what Peter Schrock was referring to when they go back to race at Sandy Lane in Oxford is that there is a bonus point up here. There's a bonus on the aggregate over 2 legs, so they do need to try and keep it as tight as possible, and a heat advantage here would be very useful for them if at all possible. But of course Stuart Dixon was referring to the fact that he wanted to finish off the job and try and stretch that lead as much as possible. Heat number 15, Eric Riss will go from the inside in the white helmet colour. Richard Lawson out of gate number 2 in red. Chris Harris, gate number 3 in yellow. And Max Frick will go from the outside in the blue helmet colour. The night belongs to the Leicester Lions. That's done and dusted. Can they finish it off in style and keep Stuart Dixon well and truly happy? Peter Schroek, very open and honest there with Scotty, saying that it has been a tough night, wants to keep morale high and get back to winning ways as soon as possible. And Harris come through in fine style here, and can either Eric Riss or Chris Harris beat Max Frick, who has been unbeaten tonight. Richard Lawson has also had a terrific night of Speedway so far. Two lads that are in fine form. Great view there. Don't know quite how high the drone is, but certainly looking down on the track as night descends on us as we look forward to the final 4 laps of the evening. Seemed to have taken rather a long time for riders to get ready tonight, but that's just the way it's been. Green lights on, tapes up. We're into the first turn, and it's the Oxford Spires. Can you believe it? They fired themselves to the front, but Harris has gone very wide. What a move that is. Richard Lawson coming through. So, excuse me, Max Frick in the blue helmet colour has come through in fine style there. I thought for a moment it was Lawson. It wasn't. It was Frick. Frick has been dynamite tonight. Really has been in that irresistible form that you can get from him. And he's done it in fine style. Harris is battling hard as always in second place. Eric Rick's in third. Lawson battling hard, but he's out of the points at this stage. Frick with that stunning move out of turn number 2 on the opening lap. Got himself to the front. He's been quick right from the get-go tonight, Max Frick. Heat number 1, he just sailed away, won very comfortably. And here in heat 15 to conclude the night, he's doing something very similar indeed. Out of the last corner, Frick's going to get paid maximum. It's tight for third, but it's a 3-all to complete the night. So the lead is retained. And as I say, a conclusive win for the Leicester Lions tonight. And they'll be very pleased with that, of course. And individually, of course, Max Frick will be delighted with his paid 15 maximum tonight. He comes round celebrating on the back wheel, crowd delighted in every respect this evening. Good racing, good victory, and they march on for their next meeting. So the result of heat number 15 for us. Max Frick out in front, 3 points for him. Chris Harris battling hard back in second place, 2 points. 1 point for Eric Riss, and Richard Lawson misses out in heat number 15. We'll see the start of, oh no, we're going to see the bumps. This is what you get. Please don't drop me. Please don't drop me. I've got another meeting tomorrow and I want to get there. But the bumps for the paid maximum for Max Frick. Terrific performance for him. And he'll be delighted, as is the team. Tapes up in heat number 15 and they get to the first corner. It's the Spires that actually show her first, but this is a lovely move, classic move from Max Frick. Just got that bike working, a treat down the back straight, fired himself between the 2 boys from Oxford, and that's the way it remained. It was tough for Richard Lawson, who had enjoyed a smashing night up until that point, but doesn't get away quite as well as he would like, and he gets trapped there by Eric Riss. And he just can't get amongst it, but a lovely move from the Australian Frick to fire himself to the front and to complete his maximum off very nicely indeed. There we are. Smashing style of Frick out in front, really enjoying his work tonight, in the groove, and certainly looking good here this evening. So, for the moment, let's get back down to Abby.
Cal, thank you. Well, an emphatic victory for Leicester Lions. Stay with us because we'll have some of the riders. I can see Scotty Nichols going over, and we'll make sure that we get as many interviews as we can. See you after this.
at Perry Bar. One race to go, 46.38 in Birmingham's favour. They're level on aggregate for the aggregate points, and Saifudinov flies away in yellow. Nikolai Clint, his partner in white, though, is closed down on the first bend. Saifudinov gets himself in front of Tom Brennan, with Steve Worrell in third place and Nikolai Clint at the back. 3-3 situation as things stand. Saifudinov racing clear. The Brummies run second and third. Nikolai Clint trying to come from the back, and if Nikolai Clint can pass Steve Worrell here, then that would give the aggregate point to the Witches. But as things stand, we could be heading for a superheat, because it was 49-41 to the Witches when they met at Foxhall much earlier in the campaign, and that could well be the score here this evening, unless Nikolai Clint can make a passing move here on Steve Worrell. The outstanding Saifudinov is out in front, but it's Brennan second and Worrell third for the Brummies, and Nikolai Clint trying the outside run on turns 3 and 4. Could certainly give the Witches a question mark who to put in that superheat. Would they go with Clint for the fast gating once again? Obviously Saifudinov, who's raced 7 times in the main meeting, will take the 8th ride, because that's the way we are heading, it would appear, at Perry Bar, as Saifudinov off the final bend with the win, but the second place to Tom Brennan, third Steve Worrell. It's 49-41, and we do go to a superheat for the aggregate point. Superheat time then, same lineup as Heat 15, and where they go this time, Clinter better start on Saifudinov there. Saifudinov giving Tom Brennan a real shove there on the first turn. Brennan is sent out wide. It's actually sent him wide into the grippy stuff, and through has come Worrell into third. Clint trying to come through in yellow, but he can't quite move Worrell aside at the moment with the 4-3-2-0 scoring in a superheat. This is what Birmingham need. Emil Saifudinov has the advantage, but with Nikolai Clint at the back, this would give the aggregate point to Birmingham. Second and third, better than first and fourth in this situation, and Birmingham could be set for a much needed, very useful indeed, aggregate point to really kickstart their season here at Perry Bar. Emil Saifudinov has the advantage, but the Brummies run second and third with Tom Brennan and Steve Worrell, and so far Nikolai Clint can find no way through. Birmingham with just a lap to go to confirm all 3 points from tonight's meeting. As I say, give their season the kickstart, and they've got Frederick Lindgren to come into their side from next week as well. Question is, who will they release from the side, because they've been really solid tonight. Emil Saifudinov looks over his shoulder, but it's the Brummies in second and third. They will take the aggregate point. They take all 3. Saifudinov scored 19 plus won the superheat, but Birmingham the more solid side, and they win the superheat 5-4. The Brummies take maximum points tonight.
The final score tonight, 54-36. A really dominant display right from the first heat from Leicester Lions to get the better of the Oxford Spires. And this is what it means for the Premiership standings. Had a lot of speedway across the country today. Ipswich Witches remain at top, and Bellevue Aces in second, Sheffield Tigers in third. Now, these two have swapped places. Leicester Lions now in fourth, so they round out those playoff places. Oxford Spires now in fifth, and then Birmingham Brummies, Kings Lynn Stars. Kings Lynn obviously appealing that 2-point deduction. Calvin Tatum, Omologato rider of the evening. Who's your pick?
I'm going with Max Frick. He's just been impeccable tonight. You know, Richard Lawson was in with a shout as well, but just in Heat 15 with that paid maximum for Max Frick, he has been the man of the night and the Omologato rider of the night. He really has been in fine form, and he's led from the front, Abby.
Yeah, he absolutely has, and I can just see him over my shoulder. He's with Scott Nichols now.
Thanks, Abby. That is, I don't know if you heard that there, but Kelvin is giving you rider a night. So Phil Morris is going to present you with your Omologato watch. Congratulations, Max. You've certainly been in form tonight, excuse the pun, but you've had your time of your life tonight.
Yeah, it's had not a bad one tonight, so that's good. It's great team performance. So it's nice to get a good win tonight, and we've had a few weeks off from here, so it's good to kind of come back and put in a good score.
Yeah, it is. You've had a fantastic night. We can see on camera there. You kind of dominated from race one, having a look for your teammate all night, unbeaten by the opposition. But it is a team sport. Without the backup of your team, you couldn't have won tonight.
No, exactly. And the boys all rode really well tonight. Richard was unreal, a great person to ride with as well throughout the night. So hopefully we can keep that up going into the next few weeks and few meetings.
And how important is it for you to have that good chemistry with your team partner, obviously Richard Lawson, number 2 there?
Yeah, I think it's really important. I think, both he and I respect each other and, give each other a bit of a look from time to time and just to be aware from where each other are on the track. So, being able to have someone that you can rely on and, you kind of can understand what each other are going to go and do, I think it goes a long way.
Well, it certainly does, Max. Thanks for chatting, mate. It certainly turned the Leicester's performance around. Abby, over to you.
Scotty, thank you. I'm going to chat to Eric Riss in just a moment, but a reminder of all the sport coming up. BMX Racing European Championships there in Verona. You can see that Saturday 2:15, Discovery Plus. Cycling, Criterium du Dauphin is stage 1. I hope I pronounced that right. You can also enjoy that Discovery Plus at 2 o'clock. And then Mountain Bike World Series there in Austria and Leongang, 9th of June, live Discovery Plus as well. Joined by Eric Riss. Eric, a good night for you, 2 heat wins.
Yeah, decent score for myself. Obviously, we struggled big time as a team. So, yeah, I don't really feel too happy about my own performance. Obviously, it's good for myself, it's the best performance I had so far since riding for Oxford, but still, as a team, we lost, and yeah, it's no good.
What would you put it down to, why the team struggled so much?
In Speedway, most of the time it's about setups and the starts. I think today I personally made some good starts, but I think most of us, we struggled to get out of the starts. There wasn't an awful lot of passing today, so you had to be quick from the starts, and we just couldn't properly set up our bikes or prepare the start ruts properly to make the start, yeah.
But if we put the spotlight on an individual performance, because Eric, you were really honest that last year it was a really challenging time, so many health challenges, so really to come back and be in the form that you are must be a relief.
Yeah, it was a big challenge mentally. Obviously I knew I was ill last year, but I kept riding, and I had a lot of bad performances, and that does, even though you know yourself, you're not 100% fit, you see your own scores, and that is hard to swallow, So it was really hard to come back, even though I was back healthy, but to have that belief in myself that I would be back to normal when I'm riding. That was the biggest challenge, but as soon as I had the first meeting done, the first meeting went really well, that was gone and I was back to normal.
It's great to see you back to normal and back putting a great display on the track. We'll see you again very soon. Eric, thank you so much. And just remember for your diary, 8th of June for the British final. And that will be on Eurosport 2, and we've got 3 British riders that are all competing in the Grand Prix. They'll be racing against each other, all looking for that top spot, also for the Speedway of Nations later on in the year. The Grand Prix is in Prague for round 4. Can we have 4 different winners? The Champions League final, Dortmund versus Real Madrid. See that Saturday at 6 o'clock. And of course, the French Open, you can enjoy coverage from 9:30 tomorrow on Eurosport 2. Scotty, it wasn't as tense as we thought tonight. Leicester just really dominant from the get-go.
They were, I honestly thought it had been a close contest. Both teams evenly matched. Both teams really out to prove a point. Had an up-and-down season, but Leicester dominated, and you have to, it was an honest opinion from Pete Schrock and also from Eric just there. Great interview, he's honest, and so much of this is a mental game.
Yeah.
And
you heard from Eric saying it then.
Yeah, brutally honest, and I think we've all been there. I admire his honesty, but it's good to see him back in form. But obviously it wasn't enough for the Spires tonight.
Yeah. And a word on Birmingham. Ipswich, obviously, they've, really depleted side, but important for Brummies.
Yeah, it is. I think you've got a feel for the Witches. They've really been hammered hard with injuries. But for Birmingham, the new team in, they've kind of had a weak team to start with, to be fair, and they've made changes, but they've battled hard. They've surprised a few people, and obviously with Freddie coming in next week, that's a big signing for them. Great for the Brummies to do that. And also, Freddie's coming in, but who's out? You know, maybe that's what brought the performance out. You know,
Yeah, exactly.
Jobs on the line and people step up.
There's carrot and the stick there, and a stick must have. Yeah, it's absolutely. British final. That should be absolutely brilliant.
And it's going to be epic. I'm actually quite pleased I'm not in it because I get my rear end kicked. It's, you know, there's some brilliant previous winners in there, world-class riders. It's going to be a good one.
So June the 8th at the National Speedway Stadium. Scott unfortunately isn't riding, but he'll be commentating on the action. Like you said, is going to be epic. But here at Leicester, a really dominant performance for Leicester Lions, and they now move into the top 4 positions in those playoff places. See you June the 8th. Look forward to them.